hit subscribe. Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bass sent you.
Dennis Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas, an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father, I have black sons. Hey man, I do what I do.
Ask us why black men would vote for Trump. Ask yourself why the Democrat Party has become so out of touch with the very people who have been your most loyal supporters for decades. If Trump, with all his baggage, is looking like a viable alternative, that's a sign that you're seriously failed us. And here's the thing, I want you to understand something.
I also want to say that
hey, y'all, come look at this.
So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
You stupid.
President Obama's recent suggestion that black men may be hesitant to vote for you because you're a woman?
Let me first say that I'm very proud to have the support of former President Barack Obama.
Ooh, baby, you're especially kind of stupid, aren't you?
Why do you support Trump over Kamala?
I speak more for the bigot to show you who he is than the girl who a bigot and don't want nobody to know. That's why it's on TV. Tell, lie, vision.
Baby, I don't smoke blunts. Don't assume, don't make an ass out yourself, cause dollars is what we all want. Don't pander to me. Please stand up. Respect what I need, and weed ain't one. Keep us high and string us up. Hangman. Money raining on immigrants doing the running man. Vote like black women. She twerking ass. All gender bathrooms. Perverted ass. Black men, we built this. Check the books. Yeah, believe it or not, your looks. Intellectual far from uneducated. FBA, what you say, I'm regulated. When black men make it, get agitated. White ice is colder, niggas elevated. Revolution is evolution, emancipated. Hate the woman who made you hella hated. Why you uplift everybody who ain't related? Politics, you find out who really playing. Vote black, but get nothing. Sit on the couch and still nothing. Vote the same each time that we getting hustled. A nigga change his mind, nigga screaming you. It bees that. So tell your mama and tell Kamala to tell Michelle Obama.
President Barack Obama.
The congregation of black men does not need your advice or your guidance on who to vote for.
Number one, Kamala did not grow up like this. He grew up in upper middle class. Really, that don't matter. I'm voting on policies, and her policies suck. So Obama, keep your mouth shut.
Think about it.
Think about it.
I spree now off the plantation. Independent, no commitment to the clan.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas.
Shame on me. Never fool me again, my votes ain't free.
Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
This for my family, yeah, abortions. Black men I salute, yeah, they can't afford us. Why you think they play us all like we ain't important? Our women taking flights, you know they can't ignore us. Divide and conquer, me and my mama, Trump or Kamala. Where them black dollars? You voting white, what Kamala did it. Her husband white, her step kiddies.
She wins would be to let her husband Doug anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away. That's a nasty one.
Her white granny, her black nanny. Michael Jackson will be proud of his sister Janet.
The rumor that Janet Jackson is mad at you because you prosecuted her brother, the late great Michael Jackson. That's on the internet. Clear that up for people.
That's just not true.
I know.
Bear with me for a second. Let me put y'all on game.
The child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Gotcha,
She got his back. That's for life with it. You support, turn around, they stick a knife in it.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you very much.
We not the same. Just see you on the bus. 400 years and change. Your family broken up. Rock broken us. You not from the dust. Still don't get it when we spit it. You are not like us. I don't need your help. I can think out for myself. And keep out our biz. I can think out for myself. I need your help. I can think out for myself. And keep out our biz. I can think out for myself. I don't need your help. I can think out for myself. You can keep out our biz. I can think out for myself.
When you look at President Barack Obama's political behavior in the White House towards African Americans, I cannot in good conscience want any African American boy to emulate the neglect that their president has shown for African Americans.
So let me get this straight. If I vote for a party that can't define what a woman is, I'm no longer ridiculous or crazy. If I vote for a party that wants boys in my daughter's sports and restrooms, I'm no longer ridiculous or crazy. If I vote for a party that thinks they can pander to me using kente cloths and hot sauce, I'm no longer crazy. If I vote for a party that has done nothing but destroy my community for the last 60 years and open the borders in order to replace my vote and destroy my community further, I'm no longer crazy.
Man, if you don't get your ass up out of here, yo, like the White House color ass.
So Barack Hussein Obama, kiss our
all these signs that say black voters, that was very offensive. That was very racist. And I'm gonna say that. That was very racist. If it was Donald Trump and he had signs up that said black voters, literally CNN would be spinning that all damn day calling him a racist.
Respectfully, President Obama, what you said is not acceptable.
Is it possible that the only reason some black folks may not be inclined to vote, or they may be a bit disenchanted, or dare I say may even be willing to go as far as voting for Trump, is it possible that it's policy as opposed to misogyny?
I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the historic in California. But I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy.
What's up? Welcome, everybody. Hey. Shout out to all my members, man. I got all my members up in here, man. Big shout out to everybody. Where my members at, man? My members make some noise. My name is Dennis Spurling, also known as the Blizzard King, and I am known on these YouTube streets for telling the cold, hard truth, whether people like it or not. And that's just what I'm about, man. Shout out to PoohMan313. Also part of the Wrench Mob. Shout out to who else we got up in here, man? We got my Wrench Mob is deep, man. I need all you guys tonight, man. Big shout out to Red Sigma. Big shout out to Mark the Freelancer. Welcome to the membership. The members are real MVPs. That's why we always acknowledge them first. Make sure you join the membership. I think I need 7 more members, and I'll have 200 members, and that'll be awesome. My man Broken Blade. Big shout out to all my folks. And oh man, shout out to Barry Little. Who else we got up in here, man? We got the Wrench Mob. The Wrench Mob is deep. Janetta. Welcome, Janetta. Or is it Canetta? Thank you so much. And Hootsie, Shalik Williams, Black Sand, Mr. 43TX. Welcome back to the membership, new members. And also, I think I got Broken Blade. And big shout out, of course, all my Wrench Mob, man. We got everybody up in here. Ivy Dreams. Of course, Mark the Freelance. I think I shot you out with the members. Of course, PoohMan313. We are deep in here, man. We are about to go on an endeavor. I promise you all are going to learn something. And again, big shout out to Mr. 43TX. You all are going to learn a lot. I don't ask you guys to do anything other than hit the like button. As you see, I got my fresh rose for the night. I'm going to work with these roses for a little while. And then maybe we'll get some other flowers in here, man. But anyway, it's better than my normal handkerchief, right? Break it up a little bit, give y'all something to look at. Better than this mean old ugly face of mine. But man, shout out to everybody in the chat room. So brother from down under, thank you so much. Oh man, he just gave 10 memberships. That puts us up to 200. That's what I'm talking about, man. I'm gonna give you the rock and roll for that. All right, that's what I'm talking about. The prescription. Hey, look, I'm gonna get all of the super chats and all of the cash apps when we finish. This is a very, very important broadcast that we're having right now. We're about to dig deep. Okay. Man, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a lot of uproar going on in the Muslim community. You guys see that? Fair use. This happened last night. This is last night in Brooklyn. Shout out to New York. This is in Brooklyn. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I'll turn it up. This is in Brooklyn.
Dennis has more on this. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Lawrence. Well, this all happened last night in Borough
Fair
Park,
use.
Brooklyn, when a pro-Palestinian group held an anti-Israel protest in the middle of one of the world's largest Orthodox Jewish neighborhoods. The NYPD did its best to try to separate the groups, but there were multiple scuffles and near brawls. The anti-Israel protesters reportedly shouting, "Settlers go."
So I want you guys to listen to this, man. Okay, listen to this.
Back home and Zionists go to hell, and there is only one solution: Intifada revolution.
Now, did we see any of this back in the civil rights days? We were out there doing peaceful protests. You understand? This does not look like a protest. It looks like a riot. You understand what I'm saying?
Protesters shout back, "Trump owns Gaza and terrorists get out of here." The group Al-Alda was protesting what they say is the sale of stolen Palestinian land.
So I want you guys to understand, these are the protests that many of the Arab Americans, and I'm gonna run this back to you guys. This is what they want Black Americans to participate in. They want us to lend our weight behind this. Now, they're not burning flags like our Latino comrades, but just take a look.
The NYPD tells us there was at least one arrest, a man charged with assault for punching someone, but we don't know who punched who. Just take a look at this video. A protester alerted police to a knife at the rally.
They bring a knife. Somebody type "This ain't us" in the chat room.
And found a sizable knife on the ground. New York Democratic Congress.
They got a whole shank. I mean, somebody brought a shank to the protest. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Barry Little. Somebody brought a shank to the protest.
Congressman Richie Torres posting on X, quote, "It should come as a shock to no one that the pro-Hamas."
Listen, it should come as a shock to no one that the pro-Hamas mob targeting Jews and promising to flood Borough Park has descended into violence. Violence is not a bug, but a feature of the so-called Free Palestine movement, which has no desire to free Palestinians from Hamas. I want you to understand what we read. This is what they want Black Americans to get into. Okay? This is the protest they want. Look, this is it's not us. This ain't us. Okay?
Mob targeting Jews and promising to flood.
You targeting an ethnic group, you targeting Jews. You got one ethnic group targeting another ethnic group. I mean, I'm just saying, okay, this is what they want us to jump into. This is not what we do, okay? So before you all, keep looking. It gets worse.
Violence is not a bug, but a feature of the so-called Free Palestine movement, which has no desire to free Palestinians from Hamas. Now, this anti-Israel protest.
Listen, I want you to listen to this very carefully. Shout out to my man, Johnny Harris.
Took place just hours after Hamas announced that the Biba's family hostages, Mom Shiri and her two little boys, Ariel and Kafir, are dead. The group.
Now, what you all need to understand is this Hamas is like a political group. It's like it's like Democrat, Republican, the Green Party. It's a political group, okay? And they are in Palestine, all right? And these people in Palestine voted them in, okay? And so when the gentleman read off what the script said, that they have no intention of removing Hamas from Palestine, what he's saying is these folk voted for this. All right, so keep listening. And now come to find out, these are some hostages. And I'm gonna go into this a little deeper. These are some hostages, 2 babies and a woman, who were unalived by this group called Hamas after they were kidnapped on August 7th, 2023. Okay, so this is what I want y'all to understand. Keep listening. Again, this is what these folk want you to get involved in. I want you to keep listening now.
On President Trump's Justice Department to investigate and prosecute the activist group from last night for depriving Jews of their civil rights. Guys, back to you.
That is just a terrible story. Only count. Brian, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Richie Torres spoke out and he wants to be the next mayor or governor or something like that. And he said, this is the most predictable.
You guys remember last summer they had all those students at all those Ivy League colleges protesting on behalf of, I guess they would call it the Palestinians or Gaza. These are the people who are over here who did the basically this violent attack. And I'm gonna go into a little bit more, but this is what's going on right now. And see, the problem with Black folks is oftentimes we just jump in, and typically we just have a knee-jerk reaction and we jump in on the side of the brown people. You understand? As if that just automatically decide. But see, here's where the problem is. If you don't educate yourself as to exactly what's going on, you can jump into something that has nothing to do with you and you shouldn't have been in it in the first place. So this is what's going on.
Outcome ever. That's New York City. This anti-Semitic behavior, this targeting of Jews. This is basically outside Israel. This is where it happens. Where's the emergency meeting? I mean, the governor is doing an emergency meeting on Adams.
So let's keep looking. All right. So now keep in mind, and I'm gonna dig into this a little bit more.
Family, that mom and her 2 little children.
Remember,
that just makes it.
We are going to do every.
I want you to type Dearborn, Michigan in the chat room. Dearborn, Michigan, because in Dearborn, Michigan, you have a large population of Arabs who are from Palestine. Okay, and this was what they were saying before the election. Keep in mind,
everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win. Vote for, if you want to vote Donald Trump.
No, I don't know if Black people holistically have told you. We done with that holding hands and being side by side and going against the grain. That's over. And a lot of y'all thought it was a joke. A lot of y'all thought it was a game after the election. Everybody from that movement was like, oh, that's just Black people online. They don't represent the whole Black community. You sure about that now?
Now keep in mind, 86% of Black people voted for Kamala Harris, and these folk went out their way to say, not only are we not going to vote for Kamala Harris, but we're going to try. We will vote. There's that one cat said he'd rather vote for the devil than vote for Kamala Harris. So, now they're upset because Donald Trump has basically said, you know what, we about to end this war. We're going to take over Gaza. I'm going to turn it into Trump Middle East or something like that. He literally said something like that. Keep how much you gonna pay? Nothing. It's gonna be under our authority. That's what Trump said, right? But they had all
because they saying it in real life too, real bad. Again, you want any type of Black solidarity, any type of Black anything, you need to clock that anti-Blackness. We've been telling y'all this for 6-7 months, and you guys still continue to not listen. You called a Black woman outside of her name. And then you try to justify it by saying she's a war criminal when she ain't. She was just a
and that's another thing. We're gonna dig real deep tonight. Some of y'all be mad. I just want you to know some of y'all gonna be mad, real mad. Y'all gonna be mad, put your cape on and be super mad. All right. So
Vice President of the United States of America. You're a misogynist and you're anti-Blackness is why you didn't vote for her. You sat here and said out your mouth, I'd rather vote for Satan himself than vote for Kamala Harris. Well,
now, I want y'all to know that I voted for Trump, but it's not because I am misogynist. It is because I wanted low taxes. If Kamala Harris was running on the Republican Party this time, I would have voted for Kamala Harris because my loyalty is to my wallet. I just want everybody out there to know that. Okay? Everybody in YouTube land understand that I would have voted for the Republican, whoever it was, because my primary interest is my money. You understand what I'm saying? But nevertheless, let's go ahead and continue looking at this footage. Fair use.
And Donald Trump were going to be exactly the same on Palestine, and there's no way for us to know if Kamala Harris would be better.
This is what they were saying. I want y'all to listen to that.
Then why the fuck did you doom us all?
Man, your language. But go ahead. In
baby. America.
Go ahead. You've been eating a lot of falafel. I can see that. You've been putting that falafel away. I like falafel, but I clearly don't eat as much falafel as you.
And actually doom the entire world with Trump as president.
Yes.
I peep it, I clock it, I see it. Leftists post-election are trying to be like, gotcha there. There's no way to know if Kamala Harris would be better for Palestine.
Well, I can say she would have been better for Palestine, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pump.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That is what leftists for Kamala, that is what people who understood the Palestine movement and were still advocating for a vote for Kamala Harris said over and over and over and over again.
That's what y'all
The
said.
difference between the candidates was not on Palestine.
What was the difference?
And even then, there was a difference between the candidates on Palestine. Like, let's not be so fucking obtuse here.
Then you get language. Why are y'all so cussing? I mean, I get some clean versions of this. I needed a beeping sound, but go ahead.
But the main differences was not about Palestine. It was one person was going to pretty much keep our rights the same.
Pretty much. Kamala was going to pretty much keep your rights the same. She was not going to put a building up she wasn't going to knock over Palestine and put a building up with a name on it. Okay.
Then the other guy was a fascist white supremacist.
I'm not going to say all that about Trump. Okay. I'm not going to let you just talk about the president like that. Okay, because most black people don't really know what fascists mean. We know what racism means. We know what white supremacy, but it's just, my wallet. I'm kind of concerned about my money. And a lot of them in my chat room are concerned about our money. But go on ahead, finish, baby, finish.
Who outlined explicitly exactly how he was going to fuck every marginalized
Language, little chubby lady, language.
Community to bring us back hundreds of years, right?
Hundreds, probably like 30. But shout out to brother from down under. Go ahead.
Because it's not just bringing us back to segregation. It's not just.
It ain't gonna bring us back to segregation. Do you know that what would Alabama do? What would the SEC do if we went back to segregation? We're not going back to segregation. You're doing too much. We're going to probably take it back about 30 years. That's about what we
rolling back the women's rights movement. It's not just rolling back the queer liberation movement. He wants to challenge birthright citizenship.
Birthright citizenship is for foundational Black Americans. Shout out to Carrington Creative Company. It was designed, okay, so that Black people who were formerly classified as property before the end of the Civil War could now be classified as citizens, and so that their children will be classified as citizens. That's what it is. Because at the point where we were, freed, okay, our children were no longer property, and they also weren't citizens. So that's why our learned Congress and president came up with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The 14th Amendment being the one that says, hey, if you're born in this country, you're a naturalized citizen, then you're a citizen of the country. Otherwise, you didn't have a classification. It was never meant for people who would just come over here and drop off a little anchor baby and say, hey, I know I'm not from here. I know my husband's not from here, or my man, whoever it is. I don't know if they had baby daddies back then, but this is our baby. Little Gustavo, a little Hamid, whoever. This is our baby. He's an American. No, he's not. Okay, that was never what it was meant for. Okay, so let's go ahead and let you continue doing what you're doing, so you can get back to your meal. Go ahead.
So that's going by the ratified date, 157 years. He promised that. He promised that over and over and over in his campaign.
Yes,
so
and the Muslims voted for him. That's what
any leftist, whether you were directly a Never Kamala leftist or you just sympathize with them or what the fuck ever.
She looked like she'd tell on you. She looks like she'll tell it. She looked like she a snitch. Don't take her anywhere where you doing dirt.
You're so eager to protect leftists, but you don't want to protect anyone fucking else.
Your language, that's like 4 F-bombs.
For y'all to take an argument we had and now turn it around as some sort of shield to justify your stance is fucking ridiculous.
That's 4 F-bombs, ma'am. I am not trying to get demonetized. You're going to have to watch your chubby little language. Okay. You just watch that chubby little face. Shout out to Wayne Solomon. You better wash that mouth out with soap. Okay. You better cut it out. All right. You're just going to have to cut it out. The language.
Listen, crazy. You guys want to talk about unity and
No,
where
I don't.
why couldn't you do it earlier?
Yeah, y'all need to unify with each other before y'all start telling black folks what we need to do. But go ahead.
And let's be real, the leftist argument for Kamala Harris, because there was one, I made one constantly, and so did many other people, including Angela fucking Davis.
Really? 6. This is the record, and you look so peaceful and nice. And you just dropping all these F-bombs on everyone. We don't need to hear this. Okay, we're peaceful people. Whose attention are you trying to get? Okay, who are you mad at? You mad? Did somebody steal your plate of food? Did they take your little, they take something from you? Yeah. A little tea leaf wrap? Did they take that from you? Go ahead.
She made it 10 years ago, and she's made it pretty much like every fucking year of her activism, is that the Democrats aren't going to save us, and the Democrats won't lead us to our liberation, but we will. We will.
Okay.
The Americans that were on your side, the people that cared, the people that were also part of your movements. Yeah, we are the ones who are going to fight for our liberation. We are the ones who are going to help people, not the government. But we need to be cared for. We need to be fucking alive.
Okay, I'm going to have to put you on timeout because you are cussing too much. All right, your language is a problem. Let's go to somebody else who might not cuss as much.
If you're going to stop the war, even if I don't like you, I'm on your team.
There's an argument to say.
That's where they were. They were like, Donald Trump is going to stop the war, so we're going to vote for him. But they didn't know that he was going to stop the war and move out all the Palestinians and then turn Palestine into the Riviera on the Mediterranean. That's what they didn't know, okay? Because I guess they weren't thinking that that's what he does. But
if the Arab American, Muslim American voter base in Michigan doesn't turn out for Harris, that could create a path to a Trump presidency.
Remember, Trump won all 7 swing states.
How does that make you feel?
You know, I just want y'all to keep in mind, in 2016, 2017, one of the first things that Donald Trump did was he put in place what is called a Muslim ban. You know what that means? Anybody from any one of these Muslim countries on our list can't come here. That's what he said. And you all still voted for him. Now, I know why I voted for him. Okay, I wanted to keep my money in my pocket. I was trying not to pay any taxes. I'm happy that Elon Musk is talking about sending us $5,000–6,000. I want some more. Send me all my money back from the IRS. Okay, I'm gonna have a new Rolls Royce, about 4 Rolexes. Man, I'm gonna be rolling. Okay, I ain't gonna tell my baby mama or my ex-wife nothing because they might try to get that child support increase. I'm sorry, never mind. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway. Okay, anyway, if I do, I know why I voted for Donald Trump. I'm telling you why. This is what I'm like. I'm feeling that. Okay, all of this ain't got nothing to do with me. Now, y'all trying to get me out there to protest and do, let me show you what you was doing. Let me show you what you did last night. This is what y'all was doing last night. Fighting in Brooklyn. Where is that? Brooklyn. I'm not fighting nobody in Brooklyn. First of all, when I go to Brooklyn, I'm like not even putting my hands out the window. Okay, because it's Brooklyn and they got rap songs about Brooklyn that make me feel like Brooklyn is dangerous. Y'all went to Brooklyn to fight. Okay, I'm not doing that. Look at this. Look at y'all. Look at them out there fighting and wait, come on. He got some good hairspray on his head. But come on, man, let's get past this part. Bam, let's slide. Look at that. That's what y'all doing in Brooklyn? Y'all want us to come out there for that?
Jewish protesters shout
y'all, no. So let's get back.
Make me feel anyway. I think that the Democratic Party should be punished for supporting this genocide, and I know
they wanted to punish the Democratic Party for supporting the genocide, for supporting Israel, and now they're mad at Trump. Y'all got to make up your mind, okay? Do you want the war stopped? He's stopping the war.
I know that a lot of people will vote for Trump because they want to punish the Democratic Party.
They voted for Trump because they wanted to punish the Democratic Party. I want y'all to listen to that. And now they want black people who voted for the Democratic Party to come out and support them in this. See what I'm saying? This is what they want you to do. Shout out to Brother Marcus. Let's not forget that part right there. We not really feeling that, okay?
Because, you know,
on top of that, we're arrested.
Especially in Dearborn. Dearborn voted Democrat the last election, and it's been a disappointment to the people.
Y'all voted for Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, but you didn't want to vote for Kamala. Right? You didn't want to vote for her. I'm just saying, none of my business. Let me repeat. I voted for Trump. I wanted my money low. That was it. That's all I got. Boy, he going to college. That boy riding around here in a Mercedes-Benz, and the other one want a BMW, okay? So I can't just do one for the other and then not for that one. You know how I go. Kids, you love me, mom, you love me. So anyway, I got to do what I got to do as a daddy, all right? That's what I got. I'm trying to be a good daddy, doing the best I can. These kids are expensive. I need some new kids. It's less expensive. But anyway, let's go.
The Democrats did nothing but let down the Arab American and Muslim American population.
That's what you said. But now you mad because Trump is like, yeah, we're going to level the whole thing. It's going to be wonderful, bigly. We're going to make sure that we get everybody who wants to buy property in Gaza is going to get it. They're going to put some casinos up. Man, they're going to be selling pork sandwiches on a dirty ashtray. They probably going to have showgirls and everything in Gaza. They just going, golly, that's what Trump's got plans. You know, him and Elon going to get together, man. You put up $1 billion player, I'll put up $1 billion, man. We're going to fly in on some golden planes. And now y'all mad. Now you're mad at Trump. But before, it was all good. Before, we got to save God. And now he's like, yeah, I'm going to save it all right. I'm going to save them. Send all them to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan. That's what the Palestinians are going to be. And then I'm going to turn that little piece of property into some prime real estate. Shout out to Beth Chama. Let's keep listening.
They did not listen. They are not listening to what we want, what we're seeing. We've been, protesting the streets all over the United States.
Yeah.
And
I was protesting against Kamala beforehand, and now you're protesting against Trump. This is what you're doing against Trump. Come on now. You got to pick a battle. You can't just be fighting everybody.
Harris removed a Muslim from, her rally, and I just think that.
So what she talking about? There was a little person that said "Free Palestine" or something like that, and they had her removed from the meeting. Okay, that's what they did. She was at the little rally, and a little Muslim person said "Free Palestine." They had get out of here. They rounded them up, sent them home, and they took offense to that.
She should be punished. The Democratic Party.
So y'all punished her. Y'all punished her, and Trump is like, "Cool, no problem, appreciate it." Let's keep listening to the video footage.
Ceasefire was supposed to begin today. What happened instead is Netanyahu met with Trump to lobby his approval for another arms package to continue the war in Iraq.
You didn't think that that's what was going to happen? You didn't know that? I'm just saying, you Trump meets everybody. He met Kim Jong-il. He meets Putin. Okay, he meets with everybody. You didn't think he was going to go over there and hang out? Netanyahu? I can't spell Netanyahu. Netanyahu sounds like some kind of cold or something like that. I got Netanyahu. But anyway.
Gaza. Again, negotiations for phase 2 were set to begin today, and they were postponed by Netanyahu until after his trip to Washington, leaving many outraged and wondering.
Because he coming to Trump, I'm going to need some more guns and some bombs and some tanks and things. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to get this thing leveled out. We're going to turn this into... it's gonna be the Riviera. It's gonna look like Vegas, okay? Before all the black people showed up in Vegas and start coming to the pool party. That's what they said. They trying to get away from y'all. But anyway, go ahead, baby.
Wondering why? Well, we don't have to wait for the answer because Trump has just officially requested congressional approval for a new arms sale to Israel.
That's who y'all voted for, though. Didn't y'all vote for him? Didn't y'all say we would rather vote for the devil before we vote for Kamala Harris? That's what you said. And now you're saying something else, okay? That's what I mean.
Up to $1 billion.
Yeah.
The proposed package, no doubt requested by Netanyahu himself.
That's what we do is sell guns. Don't you know, America? That's what we do is sell guns. Keep going.
Includes 4,700 1,000-pound bombs valued at over $700 million.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
It also includes armored bulldozers valued at over $300 million.
Because they're going to knock down all of the buildings that are still standing in Gaza, and they're going to turn it into some sort of, well, this is the plan. They're going to turn it into some sort of spot. Okay, they're going to have jacuzzi. They're going to have pork rinds on every corner. You want to get you some pork rinds and some hot sauce. Man, they probably going to have they're going to have pork chop day. It's going down. You understand what I'm saying? Because you voted for him, though. This is the thing. You did not want to vote for that almost black woman who might or might not be from Jamaica, India. No, we're not voting for her. We're going to vote for Trump because Trump is going to end the war. And he's ending the war. This is what you asked for. And see, I don't have a problem with that. I wouldn't even be in it, except now y'all trying to get black people to come out there and help y'all do this. Protest and fight the police. See, that's my problem. See, we wasn't in it. We rested. Okay? See, y'all out there sticking folks like it's.
Of course, after this request, Donald Trump told reporters that
Donald Trump told reporters he was going to end the war.
There's no guarantee that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold.
There's no guarantee. And then he also said, if they don't get them hostages back by Thursday, all hell is going to break loose. He said that too. We all heard him. We heard him say it. And y'all voted for him.
Hamas has told the mediators in Egypt that they are ready to negotiate for phase 2.
I bet Hamas is ready to negotiate now that Trump is in office and he done sent $1 billion worth of armaments and bombs to Netanyahu. I'm sure they're ready to talk now because they like, hold on a minute. This is not Joe Biden. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. That's what's going on now. They haven't.
The only holdup is Netanyahu and Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Because this ceasefire was never meant to hold. It was always meant to give Israel more time to reinvade.
Oh, you just now figured that out? That's what you just now figured out?
Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception.
Who said? I'm sorry, ma'am. I was listening. I was talking over the screen again. Say again. Hold on. What? Say, I couldn't hear you.
The topic of solidarity between black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba. And
the solidarity between black folks in America, because she's not talking about Africans, because they are quite racist towards Africans that come to Palestine. I'm just going to tell y'all that now. We'll dig into that a little deeper. But you said what? One more time for the people in the back. Go ahead.
The topic of solidarity between black folks and Palestinians has existed since the
shout out to Mr.
inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba.
You mean after World War II? Black folks didn't even know. Most black folks couldn't tell you where Palestine is, baby. That we couldn't tell you. I'm just going to be honest with you. But go ahead.
The issue of black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other, but are inextricably not only mirror each
other. I'm sorry, all the black people in the audience, is our black liberation inextricably tied to the liberation of Palestine? I'm just asking because this is the first
other, but are inextricably linked in their histories. Support for the freedom of Palestinians has been an element of the Black Panther Party.
Really? Is that right? Support for the liberation of Palestine has been an element of the Black. I didn't know that. And I am pretty knowledgeable about Black history. And because, those are my people and everything. I've never heard Huey P. Newton talk about that in any detail. Okay, I'm just saying. But go ahead. Let's hear it. You're trying hard to get us off the bench. Look, all the black people, this is what, go to Brooklyn. They want you to go to Brooklyn. That's where they want you to go. Go to Brooklyn and bring your knives and be out there, because this don't look like the type of protest we did. Okay, this is not really this does not look like we shall overcome. This look like this look like Nuck, if you buck, Nuck, if you buck. This is not we shall overcome. And we're not really trying to do that. We're on vacation, but go ahead.
Lives Matter movement of the ending of apartheid in South Africa. Nelson Mandela, after his release from prison in 1990, embraced Yasser Arafat.
Okay, you confusing your blacks. South African black is very different from foundational Black American. And that's why we have delineated. Don't just put all us darks in the same category. I know you might have a tendency to do that, but don't put all of us dark people you know, whatever, light skin, dark, whatever, black, African. Don't put us all in the same category, okay? Because we are not them, and they're not us, and they will tell you that we are not those Black Americans. They will tell you that off top, but go ahead. Let's continue, Sweetness.
In 1997, he said, "We know our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause. One of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause. "We know our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans.
Somebody type Malcolm X in the chat room. Somebody type El Hajj El Malik El Shabazz. Shout out to Black Sin. Let's hear what this woman has.
To show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause. Several months.
Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause. Are you sure that our brother Malcolm X said that? Because are you absolutely sure that he said that? Or are you just making up stuff at this point? Because there had to be some sort of context. Because Brother Malcolm was a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they were very aware of the anti-Black racism that persists in the Arab world. They were aware of the 1,300 years of the Arab slave trade that predated the transatlantic slave trade. They are aware of the words like kafir and habib and all these different that are used as racial epithets for Black people. Are you absolutely sure? We'll have to revisit that, because, you know, when I hear stuff like that, they love to get our leaders who are no longer here. They love to dig our leaders up out of the grave and try to get us off the bench or motivate us or shame us into doing things that I am absolutely certain our leaders would say, nah, let's hold on. And we're going to dig all into that. This is going to be a gritty, grimy broadcast, okay? But let's go ahead and listen to this little, I like a little clothy thing on the head. I forget what are those called. I like them. They're really pretty. They're really pretty, but I don't really like the things that you're saying. But let's continue.
Before his assassination, he visited the Gaza Strip and was...
Brother Malcolm visited a lot of different places, baby. He was a nice, kind man and very empathetic, because we as foundational Black Americans have had to endure a lot of oppression. And so, of course, he would empathize with you. But before he said, yeah, brothers, y'all go over there and let's fight these battles in Palestine before we deal with what's going on here in the USA. I don't think that that's what Brother Malcolm was saying.
Completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be internally colonized and stated that Black Americans and Palestinians were essentially treated as third world peoples.
Except the Palestinians are Arabs and they practice anti-Black racism. Okay, that's another thing you need to understand. All right, let's keep that in mind.
Who were oppressed by colonialism and imperialism.
And those Arabs that are now Palestinian, they didn't start off over there, did they? How did they get there? I'm just asking the question. Were they invited in? Did they get democratically elected? Or did they take over around about 600 some AD? What happened to the people that were there when they were there? And did you also know that there were Black people there in what's called Israel now, and they were the original Jewish people or Hebrew people? Did you know that? What happened to those people? I'm just saying, I just want to talk. Okay, I just want to talk to y'all tonight. Because see, now you trying to use our heroes and try to get us off the bench to come over there and participate in this right here. This is what you want us to do? This is not what we do. Our brother would not want us out there participating in this. He would call us fools for doing that. Unless we attack. I'm talking about Brother Malcolm, but we're going to let you finish.
Together. In more recent history, in 2014, in the Ferguson Uprising, Palestinians online showed support of Black and Palestinian
Hold on a minute.
by colonialism.
Palestinians online. So basically you saying tweets, you want to exchange those tweets for us getting out in the streets. Tweets for streets. I don't know about that, ma'am. I don't know about that. And see, we can't allow people who are outside to come and sway and guilt trip our Black brothers and sisters into a fight that's not theirs. Look, everybody in the chat room, say this along with me. This ain't us, okay? Let me just run that back to you.
And imperialism together. In more recent history, in 2014, in the Ferguson Uprising, Palestinians online showed support, expressed solidarity, and offered advice to protesters.
We offered advice online. Here, look at this tweet. Right? So now we supposed to take to the streets because y'all sending out tweets and Facebook posts and
Ferguson. And there were chants that gained prominence at this time.
They gave us chants. Oh, wow.
From Ferguson to Palestine.
You don't think we could come up with those on ourselves, on our own? You don't think? Because we got rappers, okay? We got all the best ones, right? But
occupation is a crime. These liberation movements have been linked for decades. And this is one of the first times that we're seeing.
How many of y'all know what Palestine is? I mean, I know we got some smart people in it, but the average Black person, do you know what Palestine is? Can you point it out on the map? And do you even know anybody from Palestine? Do you know the difference from a person from Palestine and Iran or Iraq or Jordan or Syria or the UAE? Y'all just found out about Dubai. You understand? So, but go ahead.
Such a divide where we're being told that our values don't align with one another, and that is not the.
They don't, sweetness. They don't. Y'all just happen to be in a tough spot right now, but go on here. Let's keep listening to the rest of
Blaming us Arabs for Kamala losing, I'll tell you this. Kamala had everything already. All she had to do.
It's her fault. That's what you said. It's her fault.
Was stop sending billions of dollars to a foreign country.
Shout out to Brother Marcus. Okay,
all she had to do was listen to the people, and she refused to do so.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, but see, this is now. I want y'all to understand. This is right before Trump put Gaza up for sale. Okay, this is right after the election, before the poop hit the fan, and he had that meeting with Netanyahu. She was talking sporty. She was talking sporty. You know why Kamala lost? She lost because she.
To all of you who are blaming us Arabs for Kamala losing, I'll tell you this. Kamala had everything already. All she had to do was stop sending billions of dollars to a foreign country.
Now, guess what? Trump is going to make billions of dollars off of Palestine by selling buildings over there. Now, so now, because you wasn't saying now you're sorry, but go ahead.
All she had to do was listen to the people, and she refused to do so. She shut down her voices time and time again. What did you think was going to happen?
Well, Trump won, the guy who put in place the Muslim ban. And now he sent $1 billion worth of bombs and guns and tanks to Netanyahu, who is going to bulldoze the Gaza Strip. That's what's happening now. Okay, but go ahead.
She's a grown woman. She made her choice and she dug her own grave. And
y'all some grown people, and y'all made your own choice and you dug your own grave when you voted for Donald Trump.
That's it.
I said you did.
It has nothing to do with us.
Nothing to do with it. Okay, nothing to do with it. But that had nothing to do with us either. That had nothing to do. So if it doesn't have anything to do with us or you, it had nothing to do with us. Why is your friend over here trying to get
between Black folks and Palestinians has existed since.
Why is she trying to get solidarity? Hold on.
Solidarity between Black folks and Palestinians has existed.
Okay, so let's go back to you. Go ahead.
Particularly Palestinian voices were even talking about not endorsing the red and blue parties. And what do, some of you? You vote for the parties that are hurting them in the first place.
Okay, so you don't think Donald Trump is going to ever hurt you. Did you hear? Somebody typed Muslim ban in the chat room. But go ahead. Y'all.
Did Palestine teach you nothing? Or do you just not care about them?
That's right. Because remember this.
Between Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba. And the issue of Black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other, but are inextricably linked in their histories. Support.
Okay. Now, just so you recall, okay, Just so you recall. Remember this.
We are going to do everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win.
Okay.
Vote for, if you want Donald Trump to win, say that. Bitch, I will vote for Satan if I have to.
All right, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy now. Okay, you got to keep that same. Don't change up. Don't change up. Now, what happens after you hear about him saying we're gonna sell Palestine wholesale to the highest bidder? Then what?
And we can't protect ourselves if we can't protect each other. This is the time for all the minorities, all the movements.
Minorities. Somebody type people of color in the chat room. Oh, now that you found out Donald Trump is gonna sell the whole country for scrap. Now we minority, we together. But what happened to all that energy from before? I'd rather vote for Satan. What happened to all that? Where all my peoples of color at? All you peoples of color, we need y'all to come out here and help us do this, okay? Because they about to sell our whole country and put some shiny buildings up. That's what she said. Let's go ahead and let him go ahead. Go ahead, finish, sir.
The working class to come together and really build power.
Oh, so
really
talk about this. Look, he's trying to get the proletariats, the petty bourgeois. He's trying to get the people of colors, the minorities, everybody, good hair, bad hair, everybody come out here and help us fight against Donald Trump. But y'all voted for him. I know I did, but I voted for him for this reason. I don't have a home country that's about to get sold to the highest bidder. I don't have one of those. But you, sir, knew what you had. The man put a Muslim man in place. He clearly don't like y'all. Okay, he clearly doesn't like y'all. I'm just saying. If he doesn't like y'all at all. I'm just saying. I mean, you really can tell. If you just listen to him, and he don't like y'all, but y'all liked him for whatever reason. But let's
fight against the fascism that's been here, but finally popping.
You don't have to be here, though. You can go back to Palestine. You can go back there. That's the thing you got to understand. You can go back there. All right? I'm just letting you know it's available to you.
Let's head out and being loud and proud about it. Unless we do something really.
Was you going to be loud? You loud and proud? You want us to be? We're not going to be loud, bro. We're resting.
We come together. It's going to get real bad.
I came home the day I met Trump, and I
You met Trump. She met Trump. Go ahead.
gave my son a MAGA hat.
She got the MAGA. I don't even have a MAGA hat. I'm not doing all that. Okay. I mean, I'm still a registered Democrat. I just voted for Trump because my tax bracket has changed and I'm trying to keep my money in my pocket. But go ahead. You got MAGA hats. You all in.
And I said, I guess we're there. And he said,
hold on.
Together,
I want y'all
it's going to get real bad.
That means a lot. Look.
hat. And I said, I guess we're there. And he said, ew. His first words to me were, ew. I said, but Baba.
The son was like, we on this now? We on this?
He said he's going to stop the war. And he said, okay, that's it. Give me that hat.
He is stopping the war. But he's giving y'all what y'all asked for. He's stopping the war. He's stopping the war, and y'all still not happy. Now you trying to
between black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the state of Israel.
He's trying to get us off the bench. He's stopping the war. He's going to stop the war by giving Israel all the bombs and guns they need for a price, because we got to get our money, okay? And then he's going to bulldoze it, your whole little country, going to bulldoze your whole country, right? Okay? And put up some shiny buildings. But he's going to stop the war. That's what you asked for, right? That's why y'all voted for Donald Trump, right? Because, again, let me just reemphasize, 92% of black people, 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. 79% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. But you all, right, you didn't, because you said you would rather vote for Satan than vote for Kamala Harris. So, and now you want solidarity with the people who you basically voted against? Think about that.
Voting for Trump. And that's the sentiment, not just of an 8-year-old, but of an entire community. You're going to stop the war, even if I don't like you. I'm on your team.
There's an argument to say that if the Arab American, Muslim American voter base in Michigan doesn't turn out for Harris, that could create a Trump presidency. How does that make you feel?
You know, it doesn't make me feel any way. I think that the Democratic Party should be punished for supporting this genocide.
You shouldn't, if you didn't feel any way before, you shouldn't feel any way now, baby. You shouldn't even feel any kind of way right now. I mean, y'all got to make up your mind. Make up your mind. Let us know where you at.
Vote for Donald Trump, but do not give a vote to Kamala Harris and expect to be welcomed by my community.
Oh, do not. Listen to this energy.
You don't want to vote for Jill, vote for Donald Trump, but do not give a vote to Kamala Harris and expect to be welcomed by my community.
I came home the day
That's strong. That's powerful. She really meant every bit of that, huh? She meant all of that. You can't come over here if you voted for Kamala Harris. Isn't that something? No, what else? Go ahead. Let's see what else.
Just not care about them.
Good news, guys. President Donald Trump just announced and told the Prime Minister of Israel that he needs to stop the war on Gaza by the time he gets into the office, which is in less than 3 months. This is such a wonderful news. It truly made my day that it might be true and it might not be one of those fake promises. And I'm really hoping by the end of 2020.
There's one thing about hot boy Donald Trump.
This is such a wonderful news. It truly made my day that it might be true and it might not be one of those fake promises. And I'm really hoping by the end of 2024 will also be the end of the end of war and.
He mean what he say, but he's stopping the war. He's stopping the war. Okay, there's some other stipulations and attachments and strings that go along with it, but he's doing what he said he's gonna do.
Torture in Gaza and to Palestinian people. If this will be the case, 2025 will be the most joyful year for all of us as Muslims. And also, I truly think that Trump deserves more credit because
Trump deserves more credit. That's what she was saying. Shout out to Black Son. As she said, Trump deserves more credit. How y'all go from he deserves more credit to this right here? How does that go to hitting people over in Brooklyn? This is last night. I just want you to know that. And this lady right here, she talking about Malcolm X.
Folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and
she said Malcolm X told us we need to come out there and help them fight. That's what she said.
Palestinian cause, and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy.
Listen now. I want you to hear what she said.
In 1997, he said, "We know our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause, and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with.
She said Malcolm X said, you black folk need to come over here to Palestine and help us do some of this. This in Brooklyn. Okay, they done brought it over here. All right, all you people in Brooklyn, okay, y'all supposed to go. Everybody up in the Bronx, Harlem. All right, y'all need to ease on down there to Brooklyn and help them scrap it out. That's what he said. Malcolm X said that's what y'all supposed to do. Okay, Detroit Red said.
Freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians. In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause, and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause. Several months before his assassination.
Hold on a minute. But you need to talk to this one right here. You need to have a conversation with this young lady. Right people.
If this will be the case, 2025 will be the most joyful year for all of us as Muslims.
Joyful. She said joyful because the war is ending. It is ending. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Also, I truly think that Trump deserves more credit because of this. Then we might give to him. So hopefully, President Donald Trump, please stay on your promises and deliver to it. And not.
Donald Trump talks about U.S. ownership of Gaza. I need you to understand he is talking about a U.S. invasion. He
ain't got to invade. Ain't nobody there. He gonna give all of them bus tickets to Egypt and Jordan. And like, here's your bus ticket. Okay, and y'all going over there to Jordan. Okay, if some of y'all can go to Saudi Arabia. Shout out to Reginald Ali Muhammad. Y'all can get on over there. They got some Greyhound buses. I'm sure they got Greyhound buses that they gonna send them over there, okay, past all the knockdown houses, and y'all gone to Egypt. That's what you asked for. Now you mad because this is Donald Trump you dealing with, girl. Look what you talking about.
And would lead to decades of war in the Middle East.
Yeah.
U.S. soldiers would then be responsible.
You ain't going over there. No, it's already empty. This is flat land we're talking about.
When Donald Trump talks about U.S. ownership of Gaza, I need to understand he's talking about a U.S. invasion.
No, he's talking about waterfront property, beachfront property. That's what he's talking about, baby. He's talking about beachfront property. You got to have a card key to get in, okay? A gate up around it. That's what he's saying, okay? That's what Donald Trump's talking about, okay? Not an invasion. It's already been knocked over, okay?
Troops boots on the ground invasion of Gaza.
An
invasion that would lead to the slaughter of thousands of Palestinians.
No, they're not. They already gone. They're just not going to let them back in. They're going to put a gate up and, build that wall. There's going to be build that wall in the Middle East. And it's going to be some on the other side of the wall. There's going to be some tall buildings with Trump on the front in gold. And they probably going to have some presidential suites. You know what I'm talking about? They're going to have the King Suite, the Emperor Suite. Is going to overlook the beautiful Mediterranean Ocean. I mean, we're going to be back where Jesus is. I mean, who wouldn't want to take a trip to where you could go to Vegas or you can go see where Jesus lived. I know it's some dudes right here in Texas, right? That would be like, well, darn it, let's go. We're going to go see where Jesus and stay like in a 5-star hotel overlooking the sea that Moses parted. Oh man, we'll eat that up. Get some safe flights. We can get some Spirit airline flights, direct flights from LaGuardia straight to Gaza. Get that new airport laid out over there, boy. Come on, we'll all fly. We can give some Southwest airline flights over there. I know my people. We take them Southwest airline flights. You understand what I'm saying? We gonna do it. Let's go. Come on.
And U.S. soldiers, and would lead to decades of war in the Middle East.
Ain't gonna be they're gonna put a wall up and the people gonna be gone. What you talking about? We do war the best. Okay, America knows how to do war. Okay, this is not a war. Okay, I'm just saying.
U.S. soldiers would then be responsible and complicit in the forced relocation of the entire Palestinian population. Now, keep in mind, forced relocation of a
they already relocated, but they're gonna be gone before they get there. All right, that's what you need to understand.
Population by an occupying power is against the Geneva Convention.
Do you think we care about international law? Do you not know he don't even care about local law? What do you think the man was on trial? He had four criminal. How many felons? You think he care about the law? This man is paying off strippers. You know what I'm saying? This man, law. What you going with law? Come on, baby. You got to do better than that. Law. You think Donald Trump is worried about the law?
War crime. So Donald Trump would not only be subjecting himself to the title of war criminal, but he would be
care. That's what you need. Do you think he cares? Do you think that Donald? They already called him a criminal. People tried to shoot his ear off. He don't care about that. What's wrong with you, girl? You
subjecting U.S. troops, U.S. citizens to the title of war criminal as well.
Yeah, ain't gonna be no U.S. We gonna be vacationing. That's what we gonna be doing. And if you get it laid out real good, and I feel like it's say I'll come over there too. I don't really like going over to the other side of the Atlantic. I go to the little Caribbean. I don't even like going to the beach, getting up past my knees in the water. So I definitely ain't trying to go all the way across the Atlantic in the airplane. But nevertheless, I might go over there. If I get comped to suite and they got some good gambling going on over there, I might ease on over there to Gaza after Trump and them get it laid out. Okay, but that's what y'all wanted. I want you to remember that this is what you asked for. Okay, and see this. Let's not forget. We got to maintain that same level of energy that y'all had before. And just in case you didn't know, let me remind you of the energy that you had before.
We are going to do everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win. If you want Donald Trump to win, say that.
That's what you said.
I will vote for.
You just hit her with the B word, like you was like a 1990s rapper. But go ahead.
If I have to.
Okay, that's what you did.
And he's not just talking about doing this in Gaza. He also said that he's planning to make an announcement about the future sovereignty of Judea and Samaria within the coming days as well.
All that is nice land. All that land is nice. All that. And see, here's the thing. The only reason I'm even concerned is because now
Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba. And the issue of Black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other, but are inextricably linked in their histories.
So y'all want us to help y'all keep y'all land. And now you telling us Malcolm X said
freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians. In the 1950s, Malcolm X said what? One of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause.
They don't even know what that is, baby. But go ahead.
The West Bank. Donald Trump is attempting to remove ownership from Palestinians in all territories. And
he is not attempting. He's going to do it, baby. He's going to do it.
Trying to make U.S. soldiers complicit.
He is not going to need U.S. soldiers to do it, okay?
In this war crime. Donald Trump is...
It ain't a war crime if they're gone, okay? It's not a war crime if they have departed.
It's a massive threat to world peace.
Hi, guys.
Why y'all wasn't saying all that before? What happened to all that rah-rah energy? Don't vote for that BRTCA. Don't vote for her. Y'all rather rah-rah. No, what happened to that now?
Welcome back. My name is Robbie Masaga. Today I want to talk about Arabs in America and how they're now on...
What you want to talk about? Go ahead. Let's see.
Especially from Black people.
Yeah, they
preventing people thought.
The mayor of Hamtramck, you know, the one that started praising and kissing Donald Trump's ass just before the election, and said because of Trump's promise to protect Gaza and the Palestinians.
He didn't say he was going to protect them. He said he was going to end the war, okay? And in protect them, he means I'm going to protect them by giving them some bus tickets, okay, on Trailways or Greyhound, Middle East, to go all the way to Egypt. They can go hang out by the pyramids and try to get you to take pictures that you don't want. We're going to send them to Jordan. Okay, they can, I don't know what they do in Jordan. Okay, that don't even sound like a name that should be from the Middle East. Okay, it doesn't sound, to me, it don't sound Middle Easty. Okay, Jordan sound like the little boy that lived down the street that cut your grass on Saturday. Jordan here, all right, get you going out there, man. Make sure you get around the edges. You ain't do good last time. That's what that sounds like. But wherever that is, okay, that's where they're going. That's how he's going to protect him. Okay, you don't speak white manese. Okay, that's the problem. You all need your Black American interpreter. When the white man says I'm going to help you, okay, what that means is I'm going to give you a little bit of help, and then I'm going to take all your stuff. Okay, probably your land and your minerals. Okay, and then I'm going to I'm going to disenfranchise you. Okay, and then I'm gonna profit a lot, and then I'm gonna tell you you should be thankful that I helped you. Okay, by sending you off somewhere. That's what the help. That's the white man help. That's the white. I can't speak for all white men across the earth. I just know our white men right here in America, where I'm at. I know how they are. I can't speak all the white folk around the world. Don't get mad at me. I'm just talking about my locals, my local whites. And depending on the state that you in, it depends on the type of help you're gonna get. More you hear like this type of help, some often means something like a shotgun butt to the back of your head. But those are the same type that'll pull their 4x4 up, hook up your car or your vehicle to their hitch and get you out of the ditch. It depends. It depends on the day of the week. All right, whether or not the Razorbacks beat LSU, it just doggone depends on who you're dealing with. All right, but nevertheless, that's the type of help. It can go either way. You just be careful. But go ahead. Let's hear some more about this help. Somebody type help in the chat room. Help.
Everybody should vote for Donald Trump.
That's what you saying.
And he got a whole lot of
the
Muslim community.
How can the Muslims vote for Donald Trump? He put the Muslim ban He wasn't talking about Nation of Islam Muslims. He was talking about real Muslims. He was talking about the Muslims with the stuff on with the wraps on their head. Okay, we ain't talking about bean pot Muslims. They're not them. Okay, he just know them some whatever. He talking about he banned y'all whole country. Bunch of them. Y'all can't come over here. That's what he said. Look.
Around Detroit to vote for Donald Trump. I'm just wondering if anybody heard from those leaders. After Donald Trump came and made the token visit to tell them sweet love.
You said token visit. Hold on. Let me see if I have this in my footage. I think I know what she's talking about. You mean this visit right here?
Election, Donald Trump was the invited guest at the Great Commoner restaurant in Dearborn, Michigan. Albert Abbas says he extended that invitation.
Where you at? Where you at, man? Come on now. Where you going?
He is now reflecting on, given all that has happened in the last 24 hours.
I bet you
many in the community are at a loss for words. Last night was a very rough night for most of us.
I bet it was. Donald Trump said, I'm about to sell it. Selling it all. Put some buildings up. We're going to knock it down, sell it for the highest bidder. And Saudi Arabia is going to pay for it. That's what he basically said. And now y'all like, oh, we're so confused. We're so weak. We're so confused. What you confused for? Let me tell you something about black folks. Let me tell you something. Not me, but the rest of the nice, kind black folk that care about you, those people, they tried to save you by voting for Kamala Harris. We don't even like half the stuff the Democrats do. Okay? They don't like the rainbow stuff. They don't like the kids being read kid stories by people, men with dresses on. They don't like girls having to fight boys in wrestling matches. We black people don't like none of that. Okay, but they knew it's like, damn, if we vote for Donald Trump, he about to white man everybody. He about to white man everybody. But not us, because he really don't really trip on us like that. We kind of used to it. He's like, all right, Trump, keep playing around. We're going to be out there. But see, y'all are vulnerable. He already said he don't like you. Okay, clearly he don't like the Asians. Look what he did to them. They had to get a whole law in place to protect them. He banned y'all. Okay. You see what he doing to the Latinos and Hispanics. They just rounding them up. So he got a whole dude in charge of them. He like, Tom, go ahead and take care of that, Tom. And they just rounding them up. You see what I'm saying? And you knew what he was going to do. And now you acting like you ain't know what was going to happen. Come on, man. Don't play this game with me. He white man and all y'all. Just woof. Just coming in, woof. Woof. And you shocked.
Abbas is Arab American and one of a number of Democrats who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Abbas says he hoped Trump would do more than President Joe Biden did.
Oh, he's doing more. Oh, he's doing more. He's doing a lot. Look, we in the week 4. You understand me? He is doing a lot. Okay, but he said he was going to do it.
Palestinians suffering in Gaza.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
Damn. The U.S. is about to take all that prime real estate. That's what he said.
After Trump said Palestinians should leave Gaza so it can be redeveloped.
Palestinians, get on out of there. Get on out of there. You need to get no American troops over there. We need to get American. We don't know. Y'all leave. Go on, get out of there. Get on out. Israel, go ahead. Hand him a lightweight. That's what he said. That's what he just said.
Abbas says not only does he feel betrayed, he's hearing from a number of people.
Why do you feel betrayed? The man said what he was going to do. He said he was going to stop the war. Okay? He said he was going to stop. The man just told Ukraine, look, we gave you this money, and now you got to give us all your minerals and oil. That's what matter of fact, let me call Putin up. What's up, dog? Yeah, I'm back, man. I had to get rid of that old fool. Yeah, man, look, we're going to end this war. Me, you, and Saudi Arabia, we're going to get together. You be in charge of the energy and oil coming to Europe. Okay, F them. I ain't tripping on what they talk about. Saudi Arabia is going to be in charge of the oil coming out of the Middle East. And we just going to run it all from the side over here in the U.S. We got this over here. Yeah, that's a Brexit. What is it called? Brex? No, it's going to be Russia, the United States, and Saudi Arabia. That's like, y'all know what that's like. That's when Snoop Dogg and Tupac got together with Death Row and Suge Knight. Okay, that's what that's like. You see what I'm saying? To the best in the same place. That's what's going on right now. That's what the white men have got together. Okay, the Russians and Trump with the Americans. It's a problem. It's a problem for everybody. Me, I'm gonna have low gas prices eventually, and my taxes are gonna be low. Okay, I don't even go over there with y'all. I stay here. I might go down to the Caribbean a little bit, hang out, give me a little tan up. You know what I'm saying? Come back in a week. I'm good. I'm not gonna have that problem. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know. Shout out to all my foundational Black American folk. We good. We just gonna sit here. We're gonna sit tight and collect our checks, and hopefully, Elon will figure out how we can get some of our money back from all these damn sex change operations that they paying for down in damn El Salvador and wherever the hell our money is going. All right, hopefully he'll get us our change back. Like, no, let me hold something. Okay, I'm gonna need you to let me get that money back, and y'all gonna catch hell. But go ahead. Let's
angered over his past support of Trump.
People were really frustrated.
Angry. It's only been a month. How you angry already? It ain't been good to wait about a year and a half now.
And I don't think there's anyone to blame. At the end of the day,
you don't think there's anyone to blame? You got to blame yourself. Now you can't shift responsibility off like that, sir. We expect women to do that. We can't let you shift blame. Who do you blame? Blame yourself. Because y'all was like, we better vote for Satan than we vote for. That's what you did.
As Arab Americans or Muslim, we really didn't have much of a choice.
You know what these foreigners, that's what he see, foreigners. That's what he said. You didn't have a choice. I want y'all to hear this fabrication right here.
And I don't think there's anyone to blame. At the end of the day, as Arab Americans or Muslim, we really didn't have much of a choice.
You could have voted for Kamala Harris. You didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. You could have voted for Kamala if you wanted to. I'm not saying that's what you should have did. I'm saying you could have. You had a choice. Don't say you didn't have a choice.
Dearborn, a Detroit suburb, is home to the largest Arab American population in the United States.
We know.
Community which helped Trump carry the critical swing state. He won 42% of the vote.
Trump helped, what did you say? They helped Trump carry the swing state of Michigan. Blame yourself. That is a Democratic state, and Trump won it because they helped him carry it. Okay, now listen to this.
Dearborn versus Vice President Harris with 36% and Jill Stein with 18%. In 2020,
he got more votes from the Muslims in Dearborn than Kamala Harris got. You hear that?
Biden handily carried the city with 69%.
Shout out to Will.
Faye Nimmer voted for Trump in 2024 out of frustration over the previous administration's support of Israel. Now she is troubled.
They still supporting Israel, but go ahead in a different way.
By the president's proposal.
Oh, y'all hit the like button now. Don't cheat me out of my likes. Y'all hit that like button. Don't mess around. You hit that like by all this entertainment that y'all getting right here from these dry videos. Go on, hit that. And I ain't saying I'm not saying any cuss words. Come on, hit the like button. Do it right now. Go. Let's
to move Palestinians out of Gaza.
I mean, it's very concerning and it's infuriating.
Personal feelings, you're infuriated, but standing by your decision for now to have voted for Trump.
Correct.
And what would move that needle for you to say, you know what? I made a mistake.
Palestine is the red line for this.
He's stopping the war. That's what you want. You want him to stop the war. He's stopping the war. It's just that other part that he about to bulldoze the land and build some buildings, and it's going to be the hangout spot for the next 30 years.
Community.
Nimmer says she suspects Trump is bluffing and is using his proposal as some sort of negotiating tactic.
You hope he is. You hope that he's bluffing. But you never really know with Donald Trump. You just never really know.
That's the same sentiment shared by Amar Zar.
First, this is clearly not going to happen, right?
And real estate.
Sure. Somebody type sure in the chat room. Sure.
Broker Ali Al-Farajala.
A lot of people are calling me and texting me saying, hey, how did your vote work out?
Well, bro, you voted for him, dog. What they calling him up? You know what I mean? Like when you brag on your team and your team getting handled in the game, they're like, well, what's up, man? I heard you said it was a sure thing.
How was that third-party vote?
Both were so-called protest voters. Neither supported Trump or Harris? Are there any sort of second thoughts now about having supported a third-party candidate?
Absolutely not. And I'll still do it again and again and again.
I didn't vote for Trump. So
shout out to Shalik Williams.
Protest vote? I don't know. I would say it was a targeted vote of conscience to say that the children of Gaza have to mean something.
The children of Gaza have to mean something. Okay.
Death has to mean something.
And while Arab Americans here were divided in the past, going forward, one point is uniting them. Opposition to Trump's proposal to move Palestinians out of Gaza.
But y'all voted for him, though. Y'all voted for him. And see, again, the reason we here today, they ain't really got nothing to do with us except for this.
Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba. And the issue of Black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other, but are inextricably linked in their histories.
Inextricably linked. And then what else did you say, little lady? Let's see.
Palestinians. In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause.
Do you all show complete sympathy with the Arab cause? All you Black people in it? Let's see what else.
Oppressed by colonialism and imperialism together.
Hold on. What else?
Black Americans to be internally of Israel. For his assassination, he visited the Gaza Strip and was completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be
who would say what? What'd you say?
Of Israel. The Black Panther.
You watch Black Panther? What did she say? Did she say she about to go watch Black Panther? What did she say?
Several months before his assassination, he visited the Gaza Strip and was completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be internally colonized and stated that Black Americans and Palestinians were essentially treated as third world peoples.
So you throwing Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party, and you saying that we are tied together to him. That's what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Why?
He will be unified. I will tell you this. The Palestinian people would rather die and live in a demolition site than to be ethnically cleansed and being sent out,
relocated
of Gaza to Egypt or Jordan.
That's where y'all going. That's what he said. Y'all gonna go to Egypt or Jordan. That's what he said. Let's see what else you wonderful people got to say. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're going somewhere. You ain't gonna be there. Go ahead.
They're very outrageous.
Obviously, what he said is ridiculous, and it would never happen.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I'm here in Dearborn, the largest Arab majority city in the US. And the war in Gaza was a deciding factor in the presidential election here. In this largely liberal city, President Trump won. And that was a big deal.
That was a big deal. Come here, Radford. Come now. We have something to say to thou. Come hither.
I'm here to speak to the Arab American community to find out how they feel about President Trump's comments.
We want to know how the Arab Americans feel about Donald Trump, who has now taken over the presidency of the United States herefore.
About taking over Gaza.
I voted third party. I think it's unlawful and delusional for him to think that.
Why you keep bringing up the law with this man? Do you know Donald Trump don't care about the law? Law. Shout out to Shalik Wood. Law. He is the outlaw. Look, everybody in the chat room say outlaw. He is outlaw. Okay, he don't care about you.
He can displace Gazan people.
Really nice teeth. Look at her teeth. They got some really good teeth. Look at that. The teeth are nice. Look at that. Go ahead, baby.
From Palestine, and that is calling for ethnic cleansing.
I voted for Donald Trump. The initial reason why I voted for him was that he promised to bring stability to the Middle East.
He is gonna bring stability to the Middle East. He gonna move all the people that have been fighting to another side of the Middle East, and he gonna knock all their land down, get rid of them little cheap houses, and put some real nice, stomped down, player looking hotels out there, man. It's about to go down. You know what I'm talking about? We about to have our own personal Dubai. You understand? In Gaza, baby. It's gonna be real player out there. All my passport bros, get your pass. They might not even make you get a visa. Forget going to Tulum. What you talking about? We going to Gaza on the Strip. You mean, you know what I'm talking about? That's where we going, baby. It's gonna be stomped down player out there. You understand? I'm gonna go hang out. When you get it all laid out and safe and everything, I'm gonna ease on over there, baby. I'm gonna ease on. What's up, Trump? How you doing, baby? I see you. You did good, boy. You did good. What's that? Are you good? All right. Give me some more of them chips, man. Comp me a room, man. I'm ready to do my thing out here. Yeah, that's what's going on. That's who you voted for. Shout out to Charles Key.
Focus more of our resources on our country.
Man,
Do you regret?
it's not gonna be your country no more, baby girl. Y'all voted for this man. Y'all had all that energy. Okay, this is you. You had all that rah energy. Okay, and it was. We voting for Trump. We ain't voting for. Don't come to our country. That's what that energy was. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to it.
Everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win.
Everything.
If you want Donald Trump to win, say that. Bitch, I will vote for.
You calling Kamala Harris to beat? Boy, look, sir,
Satan.
You just making the 92% mad. And all of that energy, now y'all out here, now y'all want us to come join this.
Zionists go to hell.
There's
only one solution, intifada solution. Jewish protesters back
one other gun.
Gaza and terrorists.
Now you tell them the Black Panther Party.
Completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be
the Black Panther Party wants us Black Americans to come out
internally colonized and stated that Black Americans and Palestinians were essentially treated as third world peoples.
See that? They trying to get us off the bench.
I feel like I do and I don't. It's like mixed feelings because I feel like if I did vote for Kamala or I didn't vote at all, my vote would have went to waste. She might have won, and I don't think that it was in her best interest to have a ceasefire.
How you look, man. Now look, you can't pray for rain and then get mad when your shoes get wet. Okay? That's the old saying for Mississippi. Okay, but I'm gonna let you go on here and finish.
No one should be shocked by it. This guy's illiterate.
Y'all remember the Addams family? Y'all remember the Addams family, right? Y'all remember the Addams family? Somebody type Addams family in the chat room.
He's never read a book about Palestine or maybe a book about anything.
How did you vote in November?
Why you talk about the president that you voted for? You say you didn't know he ain't read no books. Why you speaking sour about that man now? Y'all voted for him.
By it, this guy's illiterate. He's never read.
You said Donald Trump is illiterate? Why y'all talking so reckless about him now, Uncle Fester? Uncle Fester, why y'all talking regular? You can't read a book. You didn't. Okay, so you think just in his whole 79 years of life, he ain't read no books, or is that just you just trying to talk bad about him now because he about to sell Gaza? He about to sell y'all a little homeland. Now you mad? You didn't know what happened? You know what have you not read American history? It's a lot of casinos sitting on Indian reservations right now. I'm just saying. And we don't know where the Indians, a couple of Indians there, but they look mighty white to me. And you mad, Uncle Fester's hot out here. Come on,
book about Palestine or maybe a book about anything.
How did you vote?
He hadn't read any books. He don't need to read books. He's the president. He got people that, hell, he could AI that stuff at this point. I'm just saying, I can't believe y'all mad like this quick. And you trying to get Black folks out to come help you fight people in Brooklyn. We are not doing it.
November.
Stein.
Why did you choose not to vote for Trump or Harris?
If the Democrats would have won the White House, no one would have ever listened to us ever again.
Okay, but now it won't be y'all. It won't be no us no more because y'all going to be Egyptians and Jordanians because what used to be Gaza is now going to be Trump East. Okay, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, let's think of a name. Trump-asia. It's going to be Trump-asia now. You see what I mean? It's going to be golf courses out there plated in gold. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to have gold helicopters, okay, in Trump-asia. That's where we going. This was happening. And y'all knew that this man was going to do this, okay? You knew it. I knew it. We know who he is. This is Trump-asia, formerly known as Gaza. That's what he do. God.
They would have said these people cry wolf. They'll eventually come around.
No, they would have said, okay, we got to give these people some help. We got to end this war. Y'all can go back to doing what you're doing. Now all that's over. Trump is an absolutist. I'm going to fix this doggone problem. The man is 80 years old, almost 80. Got one term left. People tried to shoot him in the ear. Okay. They try to put him in jail. They try to take his money. You don't mess with nobody like that. Y'all was already high on his list anyway. It was Arabs, Chinese, Latinos. Okay. I'm trying to help you understand. He said that early on. Okay. Make America great means get rid of all the foreigners. Okay. That's what that means. Okay. But go ahead, finish saying it.
Or their votes don't mean anything. We couldn't let that be.
Yeah, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Let's see what Nose Ring Girl said. Come on, Nose Ring Girl.
A blind eye to any other person's oppression simply because they do not have that identity. And it's really gross.
Oh, hold on a minute. Maybe I missed something. What did you say? Let me run that back. Say, hold on a minute. I know you didn't say what I thought you said.
Some of you only care about what's going on in Palestine because it's happening to majority Arab and Muslim people, and you will turn a blind eye to any other person's oppression simply because they do not have that identity.
Oh, so you telling on your own people. They only concerned about Palestine because they're Arab. Oh, we knew that. We knew y'all don't really care about us like that, but go ahead. Go ahead.
And it's really gross. Cry about what's going on in Palestine and ask the Western world to care when you yourself do not care about other people's liberation.
Name names. Name names.
Simply because they're not Arab.
Name names. Who you talking about? Who you talking about then? Tell them. You telling on your own people. Go ahead.
Glad to see other Muslims talking about this because it is gross, it is weird, and it is completely un-Islamic for so many Muslims to only care about oppression and colonization and Western imperialism when it has anything to do with the Muslims in the Arab region, who clearly don't care about any of the oppression towards non-Muslim groups, but also not even other Muslims who are not Arab. What about all of the Muslims in different African countries and what
Oh, y'all don't even care. Oh, y'all don't. Oh, so you don't like black people like that. Oh, well then why is your girl over here talking about Malcolm X told black people to come out and vote and protect y'all? Why? So you just make
between black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the state.
Solidarity between black folks and white folks, black folks and Arabs is one way. Oh, got it. I understand now.
are experiencing. Even now when I bring up Black Lives Matter and similar causes in American Muslim spaces, I have non-black Muslims, Middle Eastern Muslims in particular, who talk about, oh, that's not a thing in our community. What are you even talking about? If you would spend any tiny amount of time actually listening to the experiences of black American Muslims, you would know that anti-blackness is a huge problem in our community. But again, unless it has something to do.
Anti-blackness is a huge problem in the Arab community. Well, but y'all still want us to come out here and fight it out. Interesting. Boy, I tell you, I love us. Don't keep telling it, baby. Tell them.
Arab states or pale-skinned Muslims like myself, the vast majority of you could not care less about anything that they are going.
So y'all have the same problem that the Latinos
just one
have.
of many.
Y'all have Arabs who are dark and Arabs who are light, and the Arabs who are light don't care much about what's going on with the Arabs who are dark. And I bet they do a lot of anti-dark or anti-black racism too. But yeah, you want the special group of black people on earth, a special foundational black Americans to come out there. You got Malcolm X and you got Malcolm X. And you got the Black Panther Party on the front line already because Donald Trump is about to turn y'all's little country into a resort.
Reasons why someone like myself who attempts to be in activist spaces has such a hard time encouraging non-Muslim activists to follow Muslims in any given space.
You be trying and they don't care. That's what it is.
Because
you like black people or you have some black people you like for whatever reason. But that's not group politics. See, black people are typically the only group of people that will come out in a group and support other people's groups. See, most folk just come out on an individual basis. Your Mexican homie gonna have your back. Okay, you in a bar fight in the club, and it's a fight, he got your back. Okay, but if everybody's not gonna have your back. Okay, that's not how it works. So you dealing with individual politics and love and affection and friendship versus group Allyship. That's what you're trying to understand. But see, black people are only people to do that. And what I'm trying to do is get them out of that. Okay, I'm trying to tell them this ain't us. That's what I'm trying to tell them, and you telling them for me. But go ahead.
So many of you are only caring about our community or the very specific privileged parts of our community and literally no one else. Fighting for liberation and freedom and against oppression has to be when it faces any community and not just people like ourselves. And also we have to be ready to call out when it is our own people committing that oppression. The Prophet, peace be upon him, came to us and gave us Islam in part to break down this tribalism and only siding with people from your group. And
that's what you've been doing. That's what you've been doing. Go ahead.
Instead of standing with the truth and with justice, and yet so many Muslims are still acting in exactly the same way.
They ain't changed. No, they ain't helped them. I know y'all need to get some of that Nation of Islam Muslim stuff going on.
As the people,
bean pies and make you make friends. You be trying to get that last slice. Hey man, let me get some. How you doing, brother? Yeah, brother. Let me get the final call and let me get that last bean pie. Well, this one's already sold, brother. I have to put it in to get some more. Bro, come on, man. Come on, hook me up, brother. I'll give you extra for it. Well, brother, I don't want to do that, man. Come on. You got to negotiate. See, you need some of that Nation of Islam Muslim because they friendly. They know how to make friends. They can sell you some food. They always got some newspaper. They be shy with the little bow ties on. I try to get me some of them bow ties, but my neck too big. Uncle D's neck is like a size 20, 21. I don't know what happened, okay? But anyway, yeah, y'all need to get you some different Islam going on, in my opinion, if you want to make friends.
That the Prophet brought Islam to. You just happen to have memorized a couple of Arabic words and you bow down in a certain direction 5 times a day and starve yourself every once in a while. But our religion...
You just boy, that sounds like what they call that haram. You just talking bad about them people like that.
Is for those who think, for those who ponder, for those who reflect and act on those lessons. There are a lot of you who have just memorized the words behind the Quran, memorized.
Let's get you up out of here. You just talking.
So that they could sell out their own people. They went on the local news channels and told Detroiters, vote for Donald Trump. Don't vote for Kamala Harris.
That's what they did.
Because he stands for Palestine. He stands for peace. And that whole conflict.
That's what he stands for, making money.
And you could see the sliminess of these leaders, these men who persuaded much of their community to vote for Trump. Has anybody heard from them? I just want to know, has anybody heard? Because Trump barely won Michigan.
He won, though.
Had they not followed these shady, slimy leaders.
Shout out to them. Why they got to be slimy now? They that's what y'all voted for. Were they slimy now? Why they slimy now?
Those in the Muslim community. Maybe Kamala Harris would have at least won Michigan.
Now I want to know who you voted for, Miss Lady, because it seemed like you out here talking bad about Muslims. You probably voted for Trump yourself. If not, your husband and your sons voted it, according to the statistics. Go ahead, finish, Karen.
But I just want to know, where are they? They're not on our news stations tonight talking about Donald Trump's
leave them people alone. Let
press conference to take over Gaza. They're not on the news.
Get out of it.
Of the Muslim American community there in Dearborn, Michigan, who told us if we voted for Kamala Harris that we were not welcome in their community, and that was because of stances over Gaza.
That's right. They said that. Yep. That's what they
said. Yeah, this is going to be kind of awkward.
But didn't you
what?
We are going to do everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win. Vote for if you want vote Donald Trump.
No, I don't know if black people holistically have told you. We done with that holding hands and being side by side and going against the grain. That's over. And a lot of y'all thought it was a joke. A lot of y'all thought it was a game after the election. Everybody from that movement was like, oh, that's just black people online. They don't represent the whole black community. You sure about that now? Because they saying it in real life too. Real bad. Again, you want any type of black solidarity, any type of black anything, you need to clock that anti-blackness. We've been telling y'all this for 6-7 months, and you guys still continue to not listen. You called a black woman outside of her name.
And then you try to justify it by saying she's a war criminal when she ain't. She was just the vice president of the United States of America. You're a misogyny and you're anti-blackness is why you didn't vote for her. You sat here and said out your mouth, I'd rather vote for Satan himself than vote for Kamala Harris. Well, Satan is in the office now. He's in the White House.
Up in there, according in, but my taxes are gonna be low. That's all I'm concerned about. Yeah. So we've got us a hot one coming tonight, man. Uncle D is loaded up, man. Look here, fam. Look here, my brothers and sisters. I want you to understand something. Okay, we speaking about a critical issue. Is one that forces us to examine where we are as foundational Black Americans on the global stage. Okay, the main thing is we refuse to be used. Now, I want to give you a little background. On October 7th, 2023, the whole world witnessed a violent and brutal attack against Israeli by these folks called Hamas. What happened? You had thousands of people at a music festival. You understand? They were just celebrating a little party, little outdoor party situation. And apparently, this political party out of Gaza called Hamas had launched a coordinated assault on all these people who were out there hanging out. And they just start firing rockets on people, man, and they indiscriminately killing folk, and armed militants showed up. They took hostages, families were taken apart, people were unalive, kids were taken, women were raped. It was a horrible situation. Some of y'all might remember. And, we as Black people, hey, we always fight. We always fight for justice. Okay. But we've done so with dignity. Okay. We marched peacefully in civil rights. Okay. We stood firm against oppression. We never hated anybody. All right. You understand? Look, without resorting to random acts of violence. Because the one thing our leaders have taught us is that violence only begets violence. Now, the response to this attack was Israel retaliated with force, and they targeted Hamas's strongholds. And since then, almost 50,000 Palestinians have been unalived. All right. And the entire population is displaced. Okay. And it's been going on for a minute. And so now Donald Trump said, I'm going to end this war. Okay, he said, if it's up to me, I'm gonna take a hard stance and I'm gonna end this war. And now you see him pushing to say, okay, the war is gonna end and we're gonna take over Gaza because you all can't get along. Y'all can't be together. All right. He's demanding that Hamas release the remainder of these Israeli hostages. And if you don't, all hell is gonna break out. Right. And then you got people say, oh, it's international ethnic cleansing. Well, you knew what he was going to do. And then you got these people in the Muslim community who voted for him. And now they are literally they telling us that Black Americans, our fight for justice and against oppression is intrinsically tied to theirs. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Y'all digging up Malcolm X out the grave. You digging up the Black Panthers out the grave. Okay. But here's my thing. Where was Palestine when we were marching for George Floyd? Where was the Arab community when we were marching for Breonna Taylor and Tamir Rice and Sandra Bland? Because see, in too many of these communities, we're called Abib, A-B-E-E-B. Abib means slave. You understand me? In their markets, we are bought and sold for over thousands of years. And today in parts of the world, our brothers and sisters are still trafficked, abused, and treated like less than human. And they demand that we, the very people who had to claw our way out of chains, take up their fight. Y'all want us to go fight in Brooklyn? Seriously? Now I want you to understand something. In 2024, let's get these numbers down. The U.S. presidential election that just passed, Kamala Harris received 36% of the vote in Dearborn, Michigan. Now, by contrast, Biden received damn near excuse my language, he received 68.8%, almost 70% of the vote in 2024. So it's not that they didn't know what to do, they just didn't want to do it for her. All right. Now, on by contrast, Trump got 42% of the vote from these same folk in Dearborn, Michigan, these Muslim people who are now complaining about Trump. You understand? She got less votes in Dearborn, Michigan than she got on the national scale. On the national scale, she got 48.3%. In Dearborn, Michigan, she got 36%. So they didn't even beat the national average. So these people purposely voted for Donald Trump. You understand me? And yet, we as Black Americans, we've suffered injustices for centuries, and we've never seen the same kind of urgency for our cause. So let's be clear. Oppression is wrong no matter where it happens, but we can't afford to be blind, okay? If we stand with others, it must be because they stand with us. And history has shown time and time again that when Black people are needed in solidarity, we often stand left alone. All right. And we're not going to be anybody's free labor anymore. Now, here's the thing. We're not fighting anybody's battles anymore, especially for those who refuse to fight for us. Now, this woman talked about Malcolm X. All right. And I want y'all to understand something. Let's really dig into that. And when they talk about Malcolm, they talk about the civil rights movement. Let me just break something down to you. So this Hamas ideology that's driving these heinous actions, it was founded in 1987. It was founded in what is called the first Intifada, okay? Hamas was involved from like a grassroots organization, and then time went by and they ended up taking over Palestine as a political party in 2006, roughly 19 years ago, okay? Now, their worldview justifies aggressive and violent tactics against Israel, the Jewish people who share the Gaza Strip, who share Israel with them. All right, not merely just acts of self-defense, all right, but calculated strategy aimed to try to undermine the very existence of Israel. All right. And they made that abundantly clear in their rhetoric. This is what they've been about. You understand? They've been about that. They have a chant call from the river to I'm going to just say from the river to the ocean, even though it rhymes with P. And that basically means that they really are calling for the unalivement of a whole gene pool full of people. You understand what I'm saying? And they're talking about the Jewish people. That's what these people are about. These are the people that want Black folk to come out there and line up next with them. Let me explain something to you. Black people have caught hell from white people in the United States. We have caught hell from white people, and they've done everything that you can do to a human being. I read some, I don't even want to talk about it, but I mean, they have done some horrible things. We still don't want white folk to be just unalived all across the board. We're not trying to eradicate gene pools like that. That's not in us. But you want us to stand next to the people who want to just unalive a whole gene pool, full pool. No, that's not what we do. You see? And that kind of language is not just dangerous, it's troubling, especially considering the historical context of violence in that region. Shout out to Black Sand. Now, as far as Black Americans, look, we reflect on our own struggles and our own journey, and it's marked by leaders who championed justice and dignity without resorting to calls for outright violence against folks. Dr. MLK, all right, he advocated nonviolence resistance, okay? He advocated reconciliation, all right? He stood firmly against violence and understood the strength lay in our ability to unite for justice. Now, this young woman, let me pull her back up since she want to bring Brother Malcolm up out the grave, okay? I bring her.
Fire was supposed to begin today.
Hold on, let me go ahead and put the right one up. She wants to bring Brother Malcolm out the grave.
Between Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba.
That's when they took over. But let's listen to it some more. Go ahead.
Complete sympathy with the Arab cause. Several months before his assassination, he
I want y'all to listen to what she says about our brother Malcolm.
In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first Black Americans to show support for the Palestinian cause and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause.
Now, do you all think that our brother Malcolm X would advocate kidnapping women and children? Did you all see this video earlier? I don't know if y'all were here, but I want you to see what these folk are over here doing. Okay, this is what they're doing there. But let me show you this right here. Do you think our brother Malcolm would support the following? Listen.
Protests took place just hours after Hamas announced that the Biba's family hostages, Mom Shiri and her 2 little boys, Ariel and Kafir, are dead.
Do you think brother Malcolm X would support any group? I don't care if it's the angriest, biggest, baddest Black man in America who wants vengeance. Do you think our brother Malcolm, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, would support having our men go out and attack people and kidnap babies and women and unalive them? Do you think that that's what? Because this woman would have us believe that
several months
that brother Malcolm would want us to be 10 toes down with this foolishness.
For the Palestinian cause, and said Black Americans would show complete sympathy with the Arab cause.
Complete sympathy, translation, they'll be tied to us at the hip.
Several months before his assassination, he visited the Gaza Strip and was completely critical of Israel. The Black Panther Party considered Black Americans to be...
Now you bring the Black Panther. So let's talk about my brothers, since you like to bring my brothers up. They love to bring our brothers up and our sisters, okay? Now, look, Brother Malcolm was he was a passionate advocate of self-defense and empowerment in the face of oppression, all right? Malcolm was critical of systematic racism and he advocated for rights of Black people. He never preached genocide of the white race, okay? He never did that. And he taught us the importance of standing up for ourselves, but his message was about empowerment and justice, not hatred or destruction. And his mentor, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the teachings of the Nation of Islam emphasized self-identity and resistance against oppression. But again, they didn't advocate for the extermination of any group of people, and they never talked about kidnapping no kids and hurting women. They believed in protecting women. You understand? That's not the nature of foundational Black American people. We are a wonderful people. But these folk always invoke our great leaders from the past, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and the rest. And they do it in an attempt to try to help get us to come fight their fights. Look, let me tell you something about Brother Malcolm. In a speech in the Harlem Mosque in 1964, he discussed the complexities of solidarity amongst different racial and ethnic groups. And this advocacy for awareness of anti-Black sentiments in other communities was a reoccurring theme in his speeches, and he knew about it and he acknowledged it. Brother Malcolm emphasized the importance for Black people to be extremely cautious about aligning ourselves with marginalized groups that actually harbor anti-Black sentiments like those Arabs do. What did he say? He said, we cannot think of ourselves as being in the same boat with them because they are not in the same boat with us. And Brother Malcolm recognized that while solidarity amongst oppressed people is a good thing, it's vital, Black Americans must remain aware of the specific challenges that we face, including potential anti-Black racism within those same communities, okay? So the thing you have to understand is Brother Malcolm was not the only Black leader who had to deal with this type of insidious sort of manipulative behavior would try to influence Black folk. I spoke about this the other day. In the 1960s and the 1970s, you had Black activists who were hesitant about aligning themselves with these Chicano groups, okay? Because they knew that just a decade earlier, these same people had been fighting to be white. You understand? And so Black leaders at the time recognized exactly what was happening. They knew Mexican Americans had spent decades rejecting the Black struggle, only to turn right around once we got those civil rights acts passed and say, well, we want to be, you know, now we're going to be brown. We down with the brown. You understand? And one leader here locally, his name was Reverend D. Leon Everett, Houston NAACP chapter president. He spoke about this opportunism of these other folk, okay? And he said, we don't want to go to school. The Mexican-American students were saying stuff like, we don't want to go to school with blacks because they're dirty. And so after the script got flipped, Reverend Everett said, as a black man, I will join any group of oppressed people, but when that group employs the same form of discrimination that I've been up against all these years, I'll cut them loose. And so now you got these Arabs telling us, hey, yeah, y'all need it, but y'all anti-black. You've been anti-black for a long time. You got a whole history of it. You understand what I'm saying? A whole history of it. You see, Brother Malcolm also said we need to expand our struggle for human rights, not minority rights, not civil rights, human rights. And a lot of people take that out of context. Brother Malcolm was warning us against being lumped in with the broader minority category with other racial groups who did not share black people's unique history. So he said, nah, we're not going to focus on minority rights. We're going to focus on human rights, because he believed that black people needed to fight for our own liberation and separate ourselves from these so-called minorities. Most of y'all know Dr. Claude Anderson. He said, you don't build alliances with people who don't have a common history or common pain. The problem with black people is that we keep trying to unify with groups that have no intention on unifying with us. Shout out to Doug MPA. You understand? And y'all know Dr. Claude Anderson. He's an economist. He's a historian. And he spoke extensively about Latinos and other groups have historically sought whiteness rather than black solidarity. Even if we talk about the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, what did Brother Marcus say? He said, we must realize that our only hope lies in our self-reliance. We cannot depend on those who seek assimilation with white power structure to fight for our interests. Okay. And so, you know, Brother Garvey, he was a staunch proponent of black self-sufficiency, and he warned against trying to align with groups whose main objective was to be accepted by whites. You got to be mindful of that. Even Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay. Right. He spoke about the silence of Latinos during our civil rights. I mean, they wanted to bring up our people, right? So I'm gonna give you what our people. It is Black History Month, right? So let me give you some of that Black history so y'all can stop misquoting our people. Dr. King said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Who do you think he was talking about? Now, he was speaking about the broader racial issues, but this quote was relevant because the Latinos were largely silent or absent during the Black freedom struggle. Okay, Mexican Americans, they didn't march with King. They didn't play a role in the civil rights movement. So when these people say they were with us the whole time, the people that were there, the one that they quote said, no, they weren't. That's what he meant by that. In the end, we must remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Who do you think he was talking about? What about Dr. John Henry Clark? He taught at City University for years in New York, right over there in Harlem, right over there off of where is that? 137 and Frederick Douglass. Is it 137 and Frederick Douglass? Right over there, got the little hill that you can run up. I spent a little time in Harlem, man. I had a little brownstone out there. I used to hang out there around about 2014. Look, so Dr. John Henry Clark said, no one in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of their oppressor or by building alliances with groups that seek to replace them. Did you hear that? So why would you replace white people who practice anti-Black racism with Latinos who practice anti-Black racism, or Asians who practice anti-Black racism, or Arabs who practice anti-Black racism? I want you to think about that. Why would we do that? Okay? And Dr. Clark was basically warning Black folks against Black people forming alliances with groups that are not invested in Black liberation. Okay? Especially, and you see it right now, and you can see it everywhere. You see, I just want y'all to think about that. when you all start running out there saying, well, you know, that's wrong, they're oppressed people and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you might need to ask yourself why they're oppressed and what happens when they get unoppressed. Who are they going to oppress afterwards? Look, Stokely Carmichael. I think he changed his name to Kwame Ture. You don't beg for alliances. You build your own power, and then your alliances come to you on your terms. You understand that? Carmichael was an advocate for Black power and self-determination. He argued that Black people should not waste time forming alliances with groups that are not equally committed to Black liberation. And the truth is, nobody else is. What about Fred Hampton? We don't fight racism with racism. We fight racism with solidarity, but not with people who want to use us. You understand what I'm saying? But Brother Booker T. Washington, we could take it all the way back. Booker T. A race that depends on another for its uplift will remain at the mercy of that race. Even Booker T. believed in self-reliance. And we can go back to Brother Malcolm. You can't build coalitions with people who are competing with you. That's not unity, that's stupidity. That's your Brother Malcolm that she ain't talking about. Basically, our Black leaders have long recognized the dangers of forming alliances with groups that don't have Black people's best interests at heart. And history shows us that. And these are the same leaders that shaped our struggle and guided us towards dignity and empowerment. And they would never have us go out there hitting us and fighting with the police and such like that and risking our lives, especially for a group of people who openly practice violence and genocide. And that ain't what we do. Shout out to Gloria Sabry. You understand what I'm saying? And why would you side with any Black, anti-Black racists anyway? Why would we as Black Americans choose to align ourselves with those who exhibit anti-Black racism, particularly when we see it manifest within certain Arab communities, including among Palestinians? You heard what that woman said. She said, my own people are racist. Okay, that's what she said. I mean, throughout history, Black people, people of darker, people of African descent, we face various forms of anti-Black racism in the Arab world. And this issue is not an abstract concept. It's a lived reality for many Black folks around the world, including Black Palestinians. Here's some stuff you didn't know. Why don't they tell you that there's a history of anti-Black sentiment in the Arab world? And it stretches back for centuries and it persists today. You guys remember the Arab Spring in 2021? The Arab Spring. Many of them were fighting for democracy and human rights. But there were reports that emerged of discrimination against Black Arabs in countries like Tunisia and Libya. In Tunisia, the Black community is marginalized. They often refer to them as the Mawalid, okay, or Moorish. Okay, and they face systematic discrimination. This is in Africa, okay? North Africa. They're subjected to derogatory terms like the term Abib, which translates to slave and is used to dehumanize and demean these folk. These are people of African descent. What about in Libya after Muammar Gaddafi died in 2021? Black Africans were targeted. They were the subject of violent reprisals. You understand? They even have evidence of lynchings and human trafficking of Black Libyans and other sub-Saharan Africans. You understand me? There was a study by something called the Human Rights Watch in 2012, and it said that they are subject to extreme violence. And there's a troubling undercurrent of racism that often goes unacknowledged. Hell, even in the Palestinian community right here, you understand? There's anti-Black racism. You had some stuff happen over in 2019 during the protest against the Israeli occupation. Some of the Palestinian activists were criticized for using derogatory terms towards the Black folks, calling them kafir, which is K-A-F-I-R, kafir. Okay, and it's a derogatory word for non-believers. It kind of implies inferiority, and if anything, it cites an unsettling reality okay, that even amongst their own ranks, right, Black Palestinians often find their experiences as marginalized. But you getting oppressed by the Jewish people in Israel, and you call yourself oppressing the Black Palestinians. And this is not something we can overlook, period. There was an event, a situation in Dearborn, Michigan, right? The same people that you saw. There was some reports that had surfaced indicating that they themselves practice anti-Black sentiments. And it's not just theory. The people up there say it manifests every day. They right outside of Detroit. Detroit would know. They exclude you from certain spaces. Even within that community, they call you Abib, which means slave. They love throwing that out there, slave. And they're not talking about foundational Black America. They talk about we got our own slaves. Remember, I told you earlier, and I'm going to dig into that a little deeper. The sub-Saharan slave trade existed 1,300 years before the transatlantic slave trade. That's where the Europeans got it from. You see, even during the George Floyd protest in 2020, you had people of the Palestinian community right there in Dearborn, and they were expressing sentiments that downplayed the significance of Black Lives Matter as a movement. Now, you might not like Black Lives Matter Incorporated, but surely all the Black people will agree that Black Lives Matter. And if they don't, they should. You understand? Matter of fact, when we talked about Black Lives Matter or Black people, they would say stuff like the Palestinians and their struggle take precedence over the struggles faced by Black Americans. Think about that. They basically saying, yeah, nah, you're not that important to us. We're going to focus on our own. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to focus on our own, baby. Back to you. We need to focus on
solidarity between Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the.
So you saying our great leaders showed y'all love and appreciation, some of the most influential people in Black American history, and you still demonstrate a lack of understanding and solidarity for what we have to deal with. So why would we align ourselves with these people? Huh? Why would we do that? Why would we align ourselves with these people? Why would we do that? Other than to be fools. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just get on into it. And if you learn something, you're gonna learn something tonight. If you learn something, I should earn something. If you don't learn nothing, that's fine too. But if you learn something, I should earn something. Let's talk about something that's often mentioned and never actually put down where folk can understand it. Okay, and tonight I'm going to do that. I'm gonna lay the hay down where the cows can eat it. All right, so let's get some historical context. Let's talk about the Arab slave trade. All right, and see, it's crucial to understand how Europeans observed and engaged with this brutal practice, as well as implications as to the perception. See, the first thing you need to understand, because we always talk about the transatlantic slave trade, which started around what, 14? Now, shout out to Penny Ford. Hey, baby girl, good to see you up in here. All right. Now, it is 2025 right now. And somebody that's good at math, I want you to understand that the Arab slave trade began in 650 AD. Now, subtract 2025 from 650. Shout out to Robert Platinum. That's how long it was going on. And it occurred right around the rise of Islam in the Arab world. And it continued all the way up into the 1800s. Okay? All the way up. As a matter of fact, it got very intense between the year 900 all the way up to the 1900s. It was heated. You understand? Shout out to Where's the Love? And so during this time, okay, I'm going to give you guys a word. It's called an Islamic caliphate. And basically that means a takeover, if you will. And I'm going to go into that a little bit deeper. But it's a rapid expansion, okay? And it created a lot of trading networks. And guess what they were trading, right? It connected the Middle East to North Africa, to parts of Europe. And that was around about the 18th century. They had something called the Umayyad Caliphate. They got names for these invasions, right? And this was one of the largest empires in history. And it facilitated the interactions across cultures, and European travelers and merchants and explorers. They moved throughout the Mediterranean. Shout out to Joseph Blue. Okay, if you guys ever watched this show on the History Channel called Vikings, when Iron, what was Ragnar's son, Ragnar Lothbrok's son, Bjorn Ironside, he got lost in Arabia somewhere in Sicily. Yeah. Right, so they were traveling all up through Europe and coming down around and through the Pillars of Hercules, right there, Spain on one side, Morocco on the other, and so they were getting around too. So the European travelers and merchants and explorers, they moved throughout the Mediterranean and North Africa, and a lot of Moroccan scholars and travelers, they documented these journeys, okay? And their interactions with Europeans and the interconnectedness of these regions. And so as Europe's powers began their exploration into the 15th century, to the New World and whatnot, they witnessed the existing network, the trade networks firsthand. The Portuguese explorers, shout out to Helena Alexander, the Portuguese explorers in 1441, they captured Africans, they brought them to Europe first. Okay, so they didn't just start taking Africans. Let's go down there and pick up some of these Africans and take them to the New World. They start bringing them to Europe first, okay? And that marked the first instance of a transatlantic slave trade, bringing them from the Arab markets up to Europe, okay? And those are influenced by the practices they observed in the actual Arab slave market. These people, right, have been operating for centuries. Whether we're talking about Tunisia, Tripoli, and if you look at the north coast of Africa, Egypt is, let's say, to the far right, if you're looking at it, and Tunisia and Tripoli kind of go towards the center, okay? And these were key centers of slave trade. People come and pick them up on the coast, all right? And the Europeans, they witnessed the buying and selling of African slaves, right? So I'm just trying to help you out. It was going on. It was a brutal reality. All right, you can't, you can, and let me tell you something. We're all human beings. So how do you, as a human being, how do you justify buying and selling another group of people for thousands of years without developing some sort of mechanism to make you feel as though what you're doing is justified? Right? That's where they're inferior. They deserve to be slaves. That's how you justify. They're not human. And so that's where these notions of anti-Black racist notions and inferiority towards them come in. We like to say that Europeans invented racism 500 years ago. We like to say that. And that's convenient because it gives us an opportunity to blame the white man for everything. But that Arab man, he's been selling you into slavery for 1,000 years before the European did. You think he thought great of you? Huh? Do you think that? You got the commodification of human life. It fosters a culture where dehumanization becomes normalized. And the practice of enslaving Africans, and I'm talking about sub-Saharan Africans for profit, dark skin, it inevitably embeds anti-Black racism into the fabric of Arab culture. How else can you justify selling and monetizing the lives of an entire group of people based solely on their skin color? And they did some horrible things to them, worse than the Europeans did over here in the United States. And the Europeans witnessed this practice and they recognized the profitability of the slave trade. It was the thing that was done. Want to start a new nation? Okay, go down to Africa, buy some slaves, bring them over with you, let them do what they do. And that's what gave rise to the plantation economies in America. So by the late 1600s and into the 1700s, the demand for labor surged, particularly in the Caribbean and the southern states, or southern colonies at that time in North America. And they had brutal practices. And they observed, they got all their information from the Arab slave trade. They saw how they did it. And they did the same thing. Exploitation of African bodies. And see, it's vital to acknowledge that the Arab slave trade was not merely a European import. It involved various African kingdoms and leaders. So they're responsible too. African societies participated openly and willingly in the capturing and selling the so-called enemies or those from tribal rival tribes. You understand what I'm saying? So when we hear Africans say, "Oh, they didn't know what they were doing," so you say you didn't know it for the 500 years when Europeans were doing it, and you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know what you were doing for the 1,300 years. So that's a total of 1,800 years. You didn't know nothing about this. Like, you didn't know what you just telling them. That's just stupid for you to believe that. They can tell that lie. Understand? But the bottom line is we have to recognize the legacy of the Arab slave trade and the subsequent European transatlantic slave trade, and that these are intrinsically linked. Okay, and they have profound implications for our understanding of racism and oppression today. These people haven't changed. And in that regard, then you can understand the deep historical roots of anti-Black racism that extend beyond our experiences here in the United States or even the founding of the United States. So that being the case, when you go seek alliances with these Arabs who have these perceptions that is fostered by their experiences and their culture with African bodies, you seek to build alliances that foster solidarity amongst who? Oppressed people? But these are the same people that oppress you or people that look like you. How is that going to work? Now, let's keep talking. Are you all comfortable yet? Because I hope you're not. Now, they fighting over a piece of land over here. They call it Israel. Well, why? Who? How did they get there? What happened? Well, let's start here. Who has the right to the land? Who has first title? Let's ask that question. Let's go back 3,000 years ago. Can we go back 3,000? Somebody type 3,000 in the chat room. We're going to go back to 3,000 years ago. Bring out your Bible, right? That area was known as Canaan. It's modern day Israel. It was inhabited by various groups, including the Canaanites. Okay? You had the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. They were there about 1,000 years BCE, before the Common Era. King David. Y'all know King David, right? It's King David. He united the tribes of Israel and he established Jerusalem as the capital. His son was King Solomon. You all know King Solomon. He had the first temple of Jerusalem. He was a wise man, right? That was around 950 before the Common Era. And this is the period is crucial in Jewish history. Somebody, thank you to Johnny Harris. We talked about 3,000 years ago. The Jews were already there. That's what I want you to understand. Okay, now, around 586 before the Common Era, the Babylonians came and conquered Jerusalem. They destroyed the first temple. Okay, and they exiled many of the Jews to Babylon, which is modern day Iraq. Now, about 538 BC, mind you, keep in mind, 500 years have gone by. These people got there 3,000 years ago. Now we at 2,500 years ago. The Persians came in. And the Jews were allowed to return and build a second temple. Okay, and that was completed. So now we went from 3,000 years ago. The Jews stayed there for 5 years. A lot of them got kicked out. They went to Babylon. Okay, the Persians came back. About 50 years later, they went back to Israel. So they stayed there. They was good. Then the Romans showed up around about 700 CE, right? That's the Common Era. That's right now. Well, not right now, but that's about 2,000 years ago. So we went from 33,000 years to 2,500 years ago. Now we're at 2,000 years. The Jews, look, the Romans destroyed the second temple. And they put the Jews out again. They got get on out of here. Get on out of here. So now we got 2,000 years ago, more or less, right? The Jews were scattered about. They call it the Jewish diaspora, okay? And so now some Jews remained in that area. They didn't run everybody off, okay? So now we at 2,000 years ago. So how long have the Jews been in Israel? How long have they been there? 3,000 years. They got kicked out 2,500 years. They came back, right? They had some temples over there, 3,000 years. All right, even when the Romans came and, tried to colonize them and whatnot, they still were hanging out. Now, when did the Muslims show up? Well, first of all, you need to understand that Islam didn't pop up to like 600 CE. They call it the Conquest of Jerusalem. Basically the conquest of Israel. Muslims came in and they began to establish a presence in that region during the rise of Islam in the 7th century after Muhammad died, the great prophet Muhammad. It was the year 636. So now what are we talking about? We talking about 1,500 years ago, okay? About 1,500, I'm not being exact, about 1,500 years ago, the Muslim armies came and conquered Jerusalem. The Jews had been there for 1,500 years before the first Muslims came and conquered it. And then it became part of an Islamic caliphate, okay? The Muslims got there and they built some stuff, all right? It was called the Dome of the Rock. They built it in 691. They hung out for a little while. Let's start building us some stuff. They built the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, and it was marked as a significant place in Islam. People would, after the conquest, Muslims began to migrate to the area over centuries, and the region saw a lot of mixture of Arab and Muslim communities. Okay, so the Muslims got there 1,500 years ago. The Jews been there for 3,000 years. All right, now that's how it was around about 1517 to 1917. That's about 400 years. The land was part of the Ottoman Empire. And during this time, both Muslims and Jews lived in that region. And the Jewish people began to return in greater numbers in the 19th century. And that's when you had the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe. So what is that? What are we learning here? All right, hologram EMC. Why are these people fighting over this land? Well, it looked to me, right? And I'm just, because I want you black people to understand why it is you getting in this if you get in this. What is going on? What are we fighting over? What are they even fighting over? Most of you all have never even understood this, and I'm giving you a truncated version of it so you can kind of just have an understand. The Jewish presence. The Jews had a historical connection to this land dating back 3,000 years, okay, with significant events like the establishment of the kingdom of Israel, Judah, the building of the first and the second temples, and continuous, sometimes diminished presence, but still they've been there. You understand? Now, the Muslim presence, it goes back to the 7th century, which is about 1,500 years. And the Muslims began to settle and establish significant religious sites. Now, keep in mind, they came there under a caliphate, which means they didn't come there with praying and being friendly and whatnot. They came there, swords out, like this is going to be ours. God told us to do it. And what I mean when I say caliphate, that's an Islamic state led by a caliph. And this is considered a political or religious successor. It's a king, if you will. It's a religious leader, like a pope or something like that. The caliph, okay? And he serves as a leader of the Muslim community, or I think the word is Ummah. I'm not pronouncing. I'm probably not pronouncing, but I just want you to understand. Okay, he's the HNIC. Okay, and he's there to uphold the law, the Sharia, or the governance. You see what I'm saying? So they basically said, we coming over here under this particular caliph, and this is it. Now, the questions we have to ask ourselves is, they've been multiple different caliphs and so on and so forth, been several major ones, not just in Israel, but different places. But the bottom line is what you need to understand is this, okay? Let me give me a little water here. All right, are y'all still with me? Let me know. Mm-hmm. Let me know. So basically, and keep in mind, the Jewish people that were over there, They were not European white-looking Jews. I just want you to understand that. We talking about black people and brown people. I just want you to keep that in mind. One of the Egyptian, what was his name? The Egyptian prime minister remarked once that the Jews left Egypt dark and they came back white. But nevertheless, I'm not trying to get off into that. I just want you to understand, as far as Jewish people and the people who practice Judaism or that religion, they've been there 3,000 years. Okay? That's what you need to understand. I'm not saying they were all jet black, broad-nosed, thick-lipped Africans, but I'm saying they were Semitic people. Semitic too means is a mixed sort of people. You understand? But you need to understand that the Jewish people were in Israel somewhere between 1,000 years, 1,500 years before the first Muslims even showed up. Okay, and the presence in the land of Israel dates back 3,000 years, and that's significant. And we start talking about the early expansion of Islam, right, around the 7th century, right? These are conquests that we're talking about. See, after the Prophet Muhammad died in 1632, the Muslim armies began to expand beyond the Arabian Peninsula. And they start conquering their neighbors. They conquered the Byzantine Empire. They conquered Persia. Okay, and around 636, they hit Jerusalem. And they captured Jerusalem from the Byzantine Empire. And this marked a significant moment in Islamic history. Okay, Jerusalem became a very important place because remember, these folk are people of the Bible. All of them are people of the book. You understand? They believe in Jesus. They have some different beliefs. They believe in Moses. They have different names. But this expansion continued for a while. Okay, now how did they would go in? It was a military conquest, and that played a significant role. And many of these regions forced people to convert to Islam, and they traded with them. They intermarried. A lot of people appealed to Islamic governance. Sometimes it would tax people. You know, if you're a non-Muslim, you would get taxed a little bit more. You understand? So this is the way, but they took over. Now, what were their justification for invading these places? I want you to understand something. What was their justification? They believed they had a religious duty. They weren't invited in. They believed that God told them to spread their faith. Okay, what does that sound like to you? Isn't that the same thing that the Catholic bishop and pope told these folk to go invade the New World? They believed they had a divine command to share Islam with the others of the world. What does that sound like to you? I'm just asking the question. It sounds like my lady right here. Shout out to Queen V, man. Shout out to the ladies, boy. It sounds like colonization to me. Okay, I'm just saying it sounds like some colonization going on. Sounds like colonizing to me. As a Black American person, a foundational Black American, I am very sensitive to two things: racism and colonization. You understand? It just sounds like, colonizers colonizing. Now, the thing is, the initial thing was after the Prophet Muhammad passed away, after he died, there was a strong desire to unite all the different tribes on the Arabian Peninsula under one leadership. Okay, but after that, it's like, well, what else can we conquer? They wanted to go conquer some new territories in the name of their religion, in the name of spreading the message. You understand? Islam. And on top of that, if we can shout out to Jamal Smith, and on top of that, if we can access some valuable resources and trade routes, which could bring wealth to the Muslim community, oh, well, so be it. Sounds like colonization to me. I'm just saying. Okay? Now, do you think these local people were happy or unhappy? You think their existing leaders were happy or unhappy when these folks showed up? Huh? Were they happy or unhappy? I'm sure some communities welcomed them and appreciated what they brought. I'm sure there was some cultural exchange going on. There's some shared knowledge. I'm sure of that too. I'm sure the Native Americans appreciated some of the cultural exchange going on. I'm sure. That was known as the Islamic Golden Age. Okay, but are we talking about a peaceful petition and transfer of power? Do you think they were having democratic elections? Or was this expansion primarily through military campaigns and the threat of military campaigns? There was no democratic elections in 700 CE. There wasn't that in the 7th century. Not like we understand it today. Leadership was determined by tribal loyalty and military strength. And so, of course, many of the local populations welcomed Muslim rule. What choice did they have? They had to. Nevertheless, basically what I'm telling you is these Arab Muslims went to spread their culture and their religion and impose it upon those people and didn't ask for it and didn't want it. They did it by force, about 1,500 years ago. Keep in mind that the Jewish people were there 3,000 years ago. We talking about, y'all with me now? I know y'all probably, screaming and hollering, right? I know you're screaming and hollering right now. I don't care. Look, the expansion involved spreading their culture and their religion to regions that didn't want it, okay? These conquests were carried out by military force upon local populations. Either you accept it or bad things might happen to you. In other words, what I'm telling you is these same colonizers from 1,500 years ago opposing as victims in 2025, and that's just the way it looked to me. Think about this. I want y'all to run this back. You got slaves, black slaves from Africa, Islamic conquest. You practice anti-black racism back then and now, okay? Use African slaves. You practice slavery tactics, right? You had something called the transatlantic or trans-sub-Saharan slave trade that included the capture and the transportation of black people, right? They were sold at markets in the Islamic world. They contribute to the labor force and these such things. Why would foundational black Americans who are descendant of African enslaved people brought to this country in the holds of ships and forced to endure 250 years of chattel slavery, why would we align with a group of people whose central focus, why would we do that? I just want to ask you that question. Why would we do that? In our right minds, just for nothing, just because what? Because they're oppressed? Don't really sound like oppression to me. It sounds like y'all been fighting over some land a long time and ain't really got nothing to do with us. And if I had to pick and choose which side I would be on, I'm probably not going to be on the side of the people who captured black Africans and put them in slavery before white people ever did. I'm probably not. And the other thing you got to understand, I know I got some Muslims up in here. I know you're in here, but it's the reason why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and all their great teachers, including Brother Malcolm X, when he was under the tutelage of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, made a distinct difference between the Nation of Islam and the Islam that they practice and their understanding. Their central focus of worship is Master Fard Muhammad. Even though they acknowledge the great Prophet Muhammad, I want you to understand something. We are foundational Black American people. Why would we have our central focus of worship be a slave owner? And who am I talking about? Shout out to Paige Style. I'm just asking you something. If you got a group of people whose central focus of worship is a slave owner, what does that say about the way they see you? And you yourself are descended from slaves. Brothers and sisters, I want you to think about that. This is not a religious question I'm asking you. This is a culture question. This is a belief question. Let's look at the historical accounts of the honorable of the great Prophet Muhammad. Did he own slaves? Yes. Yes. It's right there in your Quran, if you decide to read it. Yes. Got a lot of Muslims that are living. I'm sure there's some Muslims in here. Now, by contrast, Jesus Christ, who predated Muhammad by about 600 years, did not own slaves. But he had that option. Now, I will say this. The Prophet Muhammad, he did own slaves, and it was a common thing in the 7th century, just as it was common in Jesus' time. He did provide for their welfare, and he encouraged fair treatment. But at the end of the day, he was still a slave owner. And this is the religion that these folk worship. Now, there's no accounts of Jesus Christ ever, or biblical accounts of Jesus ever owning slaves. Okay? Jesus lived during the Roman Empire. Shout out to, let me make sure I get, can someone tell me what akata means? Yeah, it means straight cat. But that's another day. You got to look at the Rolodex and stuff. Are y'all with me? Did y'all run off yet? Are y'all still here? Are y'all learning something? I know you are. But let's get back. So Jesus lived during the Roman Empire, and they had slaves. So he certainly could have had slaves as he wanted to. You see what I'm saying? But he never engaged in that. Okay. Now, Prophet Muhammad, he advocated for the emancipation of slaves and promoted freeing them as an act of charity and righteousness, right? And that influenced many people to free their slaves, but he was a slave owner nonetheless. You understand what I'm saying? You see? I just want you to think about that. And I use Jesus because 600-700 years, that's kind of, same time period. And that's somebody that we know who's also the central focus of worship, or can be. Okay? Now, the question you have to ask yourself, what does it do to a group of people whose central focus of worship is a slave owner? What does that do to their culture? How is their perception altered about those who would be called slaves, or when they call you an Abib? What does that tell you? We live under a constitution that says African Americans are 3/5 of a person under the Constitution. How do you think that affects folks? Shout out to Black Eyed Peas and Cornbread. How do you think that affects folks who perceive that? It means it's a permanent part of their culture when you ask me. Now, that being the case, they still have slavery in the modern day in the Arab world. That might not be slavery by name because it's outlawed, but situations are prevalent in several Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain. What do they do? And who do they do it to? What happens is you got folk who come over there, and in some cases, their employers will take and confiscate their passports. And what does that do? It effectively traps them in the situations of exploitation, and it prevents them from leaving. They recruit these migrant workers over there to these countries. Okay, they get them from Southeast Asia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, India. They get them from the Philippines, Indonesia. They get them from the Sudan. They get them from Egypt. They get them from Eritrea. They get them from Somalia. They get them over there because shout out to Michael J, because they have fewer economic opportunities in those countries. They call it the global South. They have been doing construction, domestic work, and hospitality, and they keep their passport. Here's the cold part about it. The workers deal with harsh treatment, long work hours, poor living conditions. They don't have rights, they don't have protections, and they might not even get paid. Some of these migrants are telling people they haven't been paid at all. They get paid in food and shelter, poor shelter, or they get low wages. And it makes it difficult for them to ever be able to support themselves or even send money back. So they're making no headway. And yeah, laws exist to enforce it, but the laws are inconsistent. And many of these people, they fear retaliation if they speak out about their conditions. And the situation's drawing a lot of attention. I've seen videos where they're literally whipping the people. They're whipping people on video. So I'm gonna ask y'all something, okay? When you hear this, listen to that.
The topic of solidarity between Black folks and Palestinians has existed since the inception of the State of Israel and the Nakba. And the issue of Black and Palestinian liberation not only mirror each other, but are inextricably linked in their histories.
Do you think these people are aligned with us? for 1 minute. When these folk out here hooting and hollering about how they want us to protest with them, do you really think they didn't vote for Kamala Harris because they like Trump's policies better, or did they not vote for her because she was black or perceived as black? So their own anti-black racism is coming back and biting them in the backside, and now they want you to put your black bodies out front and help them kick up some dust and some ruckus, right? Because they made a bad decision based on their anti-black racism. So they want you to get on out there and in Brooklyn, shout out to Brooklyn, and fight people and stab people and whatever the heck they want you to do. Because their anti-black racism has come back to bite them. I don't know about that.
Just take a look at this video.
I'm not that type of a fool. You understand? I might be a fool for this ice cream right here. Shouldn't be eating it this late. It's delicious though. But I'm not that type of fool, family. And I don't expect y'all to be that type of fool. So I want you to think about that. When these folk try to put you up to it and have you feeling like you owe them something, I just want you to be reminded when they tell you that our ancestors would want us to come out there and throw
the freedom of Palestinians. In the 1950s, Malcolm X was one of the first black Americans.
They dropped Malcolm X on, y'all want you to be like, no, he wouldn't. Malcolm X wouldn't. He might have said some nice things to you because he was over there in your country, didn't want to be rude. But Malcolm X, he would have had some choice. He said some other things about aligning ourselves with people who were anti-black in their practice and their religion and how they got down and been doing it longer than the white folk. That's what Brother Malcolm would say. You understand me? Don't be foolish, people. Don't be foolish, people. Now, that being the case, my beautiful, wonderful, lovely folk, I hope you all appreciate the work that I did. If you learned something, I should earn something. I want to spend the opportunity now to thank all the special and beautiful people who did actually learn something and contributed to the super chat. I thank you all. Everybody's an MVP here. And, I just want y'all to understand something, man. I want y'all to understand something, man. I really appreciate you guys. I want to, a lot of y'all been with me for a minute. You've been with me for a minute. I want to, didn't want to go too deep into this, but I know there's been a lot of ruckus, a lot of new information, and folks is making a fuss on the internet about who Kevin Samuels put on and who he didn't put on. And, I really just wish people would just let that brother rest. I really would. I really would. It's unfortunate that you got people, I guess they bored or they got their views down and so on and so forth. But I might talk about that later. But, Brother Kevin, I'll show y'all this one little picture before I get to reading these super chats. I did an interview with Brother Kevin down in Miami. Golly, that had to be his birthday weekend. And some of y'all might have saw that. I was there with my fiance at the time, who is now the little old lady now, making me all these good sweets and stuff. But Kevin tried to put a lot of people on, and the one thing you have to understand is, shout out to Jamal Smith. He tried to put a lot of people on, but I'm just be honest with you, I'm hard-headed. And the reason I'm hard-headed, because the Lord has blessed me not to want for anything. That makes sense. I don't want money, okay? I damn sure don't want to be famous. And, I do this because my primary motivation is I want to have a legacy worth living, if that makes sense. Money is, you can't take it with you. Let me just say it like that. You can't take it with you. And when it's gone, and it is what it is, okay? But I posted this up, and because there's some people speaking negatively about Brother Kevin. And for the record, Kevin Sanders, before he passed away, was trying to, like hell, to whip me into shape for mainstream. In case you all haven't noticed, my motivation is not money or fame, but I do like to win. Once he figured that out, He got me motivated. But then, rest in peace. Shout out to Christopher Williams. And so what I'm trying to say, and let me see if y'all can see that. Let me see if this pops up. I don't know if it's going to pop up. It might pop up. But there's a little picture I put up here. It may or may not pop up. Of the interview I did. This is a still photograph of an interview that I did with brother Kevin Samuels. I don't know if it's going to pop up. But, you know, he was doing that's it. That's the last. Can y'all see that? Shout out to Mr. Hunter. Can you all see that photograph? Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. So that's a photograph of me and Kevin. And my fiance at the time took the photograph. And that was after the interview down there in Miami. You know, so he was trying to put folk on. He's doing his best to put people on. You have people saying negative things about he didn't put anything on. That's why the black manosphere is there. But clearly, I don't fit well within the black manosphere, nor do I fit well within the mainstream, right? Because I'm up here talking about, I'm talking about white supremacy, racism. Shout out to Christopher Williams. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about, I'm talking to my people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure my people don't go down a destructive path. I feel like that's my thing. You know, I don't talk about relationships, and I spent a long time defending black. I spent a long time just defending black men. You know, you understand what I'm saying? And I did that because I wanted black men to know it's okay to speak up for yourself. So I'm not a mainstream type guy. I'm y'all's guy. And at this point, I'm very happy to be at the point where we got so many exterior enemies and folks trying to pull away. I could just say, no, let me just go ahead and take care of all of my people. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing you all have to understand about Kevin Samuels is he was definitely pro-black when it comes to it. When I say pro-black, I mean, you would notice sometimes we would have people of other ethnicities which would come on to his channel, and they would begin to try to speak disparagingly about black women, and he would immediately cut them off because he had an abiding love for black women, just like he had an abiding love for his mother and his daughter, okay? And so y'all need to understand that. You know, that's why me and Kevin was cool. Now, I only met Kevin a couple of times, but man, the man helped me introduce me to my wife. I got to be down with the man. The man introduced me to my wife by way of talking me into joining the little internet group called The Mix. So, you know, when the man went down, I had to step in the cut, because what kind of man would I be? Shout out to Charlotte Stratton. What kind of man would I be if my friend, who I say is my friend, somebody who helped me so tremendously, you know, who said, man, you some women out there for you, man. Stop going to them goddamn countries overseas. Get out that villa. Uncle D was doing a lot. I had a villa. It was going down. You kidding me? But I gave all that up, and now I'm happy now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm happy, and I want y'all to be happy. But the bottom line is, Kevin was doing his best trying to put people on, but you can't put me on because I know who I am. I'm pretty much, even though I got a suit on, I'm just me. You understand? I am a black man. I enjoy being black. I love black people, and I just really want to do my best by black people, because I'm not really concerned about the rest of the world. It's odd that you got so many people who always want to seek me out and get my advice. I had some people call me today and want me to join a project because they want to make sure that what they say is something that is appropriate, because they want to talk about some black issues. But I'm like, all right, if it's worthwhile. I've had politicians contact me because they want to appear on my broadcast, and I'm like, okay, but I'm going to ask you some questions that's going to make you be uncomfortable. You understand what I'm saying? So, you might not like what I'm going to ask you, because I need to know why we're here. And I see all the people giving super chats and everything, but I just wanted to clear that out. But I hope that we can just let this brother speak for himself, because we don't want to be the group of people that, get to talking about him so bad and we end up tearing him down. I fought like hell to try to preserve this man's reputation and all those lies and whatnot being spread about him. But yeah, so for those who say, well, he didn't put his friends on, that's the interview right there. Unfortunately, this was in March and the brother passed away in May, so it never aired. And I'm sure that his daughter and their team has the video footage and all that. But, I'm not about to call him up and and Miss Beverly and try to get them to find that. You understand what I'm saying, family? So that's one of those ones, that's the lost interview that I had, and it's fine. You understand what I'm saying? But Kevin did his best to try to put his friends on. But like I said, when you dealing with people like me, first of all, I'm hard-headed. I probably ain't gonna do what you say. But if you see many of the things that he had me, like I had to get some new cameras. I think I spent $6,000. He bothered the heck out of me. And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to do this YouTube thing there. See, I make enough money practicing law. I'm good. I just do it because I enjoy it and I enjoy talking to people and whatnot. And I'm more on self-improvement and focused on trying to help Black folks be the best people they can be. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't need to talk to anybody else. But he tried to get me to go mainstream. It's just that ain't do. That's not what I do, baby. I belong to y'all, whether you like me or not. But anyway, so that's all I got to say about that. Hopefully that'll help put some truth out there as to what really happened. But yeah, Kevin was trying his best to people on. But people come and people go, and it was his time to leave us, and we wish he rest in peace. I know his birthday's coming up next month, whatnot. But anyway, yeah, baby, yeah. Let's go ahead and give a big shout out to everybody who has contributed. Hallelujah, who's contributed to the super chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Did y'all learn something tonight? That's what I need to know. Did you learn something? I hope y'all learned something. I hope you learned something. I thought I was going to be up in here 3 hours. Shout out to Phil. Shout out to you, Phil. Shout out to Vicky. Thank you so much. Jerome, I appreciate you. Angela, good looking out. Gregory, Sophia, there's that pretty name again. Shout out to Sophia, and shout out to Russell. Russell is back. Russell, you better be over 55 years old. You better, nobody under 55 should be named Russell. Don't name anybody else's children Russell. You hear me? No more Russells under the age of 55. That's an old people name. Okay. That's like that's goddamn Glenda. Okay. Glenda and Mary Lou. Nah, keep them names for the old people. And Stafford. Keep that name too. Shout out to Mr. 43TX. Welcome to the membership, brother. Good to have you back. Who else we got? Brother from down under. Man, he gifted 10 people. That's what I'm talking about. Good looking out on the membership. The prescription. Thank you so much for the $19.99. Barry Little. What's happening, Barry? He says some clown was on Tariq's broadcast literally cussing Black folks out for allowing our tax dollars to go to Israel and us allegedly being against Palestine. Yeah, I mean, but see, the thing is, man, a lot of Black people's knee-jerk reaction is, I'm going to side with the brown people, not knowing that throughout history, a lot of these brown people and yellow people have treated you worse, okay, bad, or if not worse, than some of these white folk that you make out to be your worst enemy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, ignorance will have you fighting with folk that you might want to, fighting for folk that you might want to have an eye on. I'm just saying, okay? So this is why we here, all right? This is why I'm gonna put it out there. You do with it what you want to with it, but I'm not gonna have you out there making stupid mistakes and being foolish. Now, we got 52 super chats. I know y'all learned something, okay? I know you learned something. If you have, I appreciate the super chats. If you learn something, now, don't give me anything for free. I don't want anything for free, but if you did learn something, try to give me the 53 super chats. For those of you guys who have learned something, give me 3 more super chats. That'll be awesome. I'd love to get 53 from thee. That'll be cool with me. But anyway, let's go ahead and shout out to brother from down under. Who else we got? Sid Love. That's what's up, man. New member, good looking out. Welcome to Greta Williams, gifted 1 Dennis Spurling podcast membership. Thank you, baby. Johnny Harris is hot and it's only February. It sure is, man. They out there, they doing too much. We not even in summer yet. Golly. Brother from down under, the reason I voted for Trump, my fellow brothers who are invested in cryptocurrency, my crew, over 300 Black men, 500% in their investment, praise the Lord. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby. You get hand clap for that. Yeah, look, man. All those social issues is sad, but you can't ask me to put my pocket and my wallet and my bank account before you. Vote your interest. You understand? Just vote your interest is all I'm telling you to do. And I know one thing, it's a lot more Black people that are saying, yeah, I ain't really in the march, and I'm in the counting these checks. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have to vote our interests. You know, your interests, you go with your interests. That's the best thing to do. But shout out to Carrington Creative Company. Big ups, Uncle D. I appreciate you. The brother from down under. That's what I'm talking about, family. Good looking out. Who else we got? Wayne Solomon. The east side of Buffalo has a large Arabian population, and they've been mistreating. They've been mistreating black folks up here since the 1970s. Not our fight. So for those of you all who don't understand, when black people say been, okay, that is indicative of the fact that this is a condition that has occurred or has been ongoing for a long period or long duration of time. So he said it been happening. I've been paid him his $20 back. I don't know why he around here tripping on me. That means that you paid him that $20 a long time ago. You satisfied that debt, and you're unsure as to why he's continuing to bother you and harass you about this debt, which has been satisfied in full a long time prior. So that's what Ben means. He put some extra emphasis on that. Shout out to brother Marcus S.Y. Trump gonna make a new Club Med. Oh, yes, he is. I bet, boy, if you look the other way, and it'll have a whole set of buildings out there and paved roads. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you think he playing? He is for serious. You understand me? Shout out to Beth Chakama. Thank you for your new membership. Mystic Medica, thank you so much. The Jewish people actively protest and organize with our ancestors during the civil rights movement. If we ally with anyone, it should be with them. Now, let me just tell you something. You just spoke a whole truth, because every time I read these books about black people, and whether we talk about Martin Luther King or Thurgood Marshall, okay, each and every time it's always a Jewish person funding this case or funding that case. Remember, in the 1950s and 60s, we were not a rich people. We did not have a lot of money. We were married, and we had these little houses we lived in, but we people. It was those Jewish people, and you know, whether you like it or not, it's the truth. That one of the founders of the NAACP and who helped finance the NAACP Legal Defense Fund was a Jewish man. You would not have Brown versus the Board of Education if it wasn't for those people financing this in part. I'm just telling you, it was some Jewish lawyers that got in on that. You understand what I'm saying? And so you got to give credit where credit is due. You got to do what you got to do. And I'm gonna call it like I see it. You see, Jewish people have done a lot more for the civil rights movement than we give them credit for. Remember, it was one black boy and two Jewish boys that got murdered, that got unalived down in Mississippi on that freedom ride, going there trying to register black people to vote. There was a movie out about it called Mississippi Burning that came out about that. Y'all need to check that out. But anyway, black sand, Afro Palestinians are called Abid. It means slave. Yeah, I spoke about that. That's exactly right. Also, the Arabs enslaved Africans on the continent long before chattel slavery. They're not our biggest fans, and only when they need, just say you can go to some of these Arab convenience stores and see how they treat you. We got 57 super chats. Let's see if we can get 3 more. That'll get us up to 60. Y'all do that for me if you learn something. But if not, I understand. Let me see my man Black saying, are they really Palestinians anymore? Name change. Yeah, right. Gulf of Mexico is going to be the basically it's going to be the resort of America, Middle East, apparently. Okay. But shout out to you, Earth Angel 1105 remix. Earth Angel, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Reginald Ali Muhammad, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Will, they're going to build another canal. They're going to do a lot. Shalik Williams, Palestine is the real 51st state. Yeah, man, you know, they voted for this man and they mad because he doing what he said he was going to do to everybody who understand what he was saying. He doing what he do. Shout out to, look what he's doing to Ukraine. He's negotiating a peace deal between him, Russia, and Saudi Arabia about Ukraine, and Ukraine is not even having any conversation with it. Right now, Trump is the world's daddy, okay? He ending all the wars, daddy's home. That's what's going on. It is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. Shalik Williams said they need to holler at the Native Americans. Right. You understand me? They need to holler at the Native Americans. and see these folk whether they keep their word or not. But anyway, Charles Keys Sr., we can help the Palestinians, Latinas, Africans, but we want 100K women each and under 140 pounds. Boy, you out here being ignorant, boy. You out here being, it's Black History Month, man. Cut that out. Anyway, Alonzo Dunn says, stop going to certain mosques because of the anti-Blackness. They don't really respect Black American Muslims or a lot of Africans. Look, man, religion don't stop you from being racist. That's what I'm trying to understand. I want y'all to understand that, man. You start putting folk up on pedestal, you don't even know their history. You know, I mean, it's embedded in their culture. You understand? And you all running up behind there trying to get out there and talking about free this and free that. You don't even know. Same thing with the Latinos and the Asians. Make these people earn what they get from you. Stop being so quick to give it away because you want to be liked. That's low self-esteem, period. All right, my man Black Sand, they can lie to us as part of their belief. Wow, didn't know that. They can lie to us as part of their belief. Wow, shout out to you. That's deep. I'm gonna investigate that. Hey, we got 60 super chats. Outstanding. I think the record is 73. I don't know if we're gonna get there, but let's try to get to 65. If we can get to 65, that'll be live. Yeah. My man Doug MPA, Uncle D keeping his boot on their necks. Black people need to stay out of the fight. Their conflict is over a sandbox, not our problem. It's really not. And I darn sure don't want to see y'all out there participating in this hot mess. This is not us. This is not what our ancestors taught us how to protest. This ain't us. Don't you do that, okay? Don't you get yourself out there and get locked up and incarcerated, fighting other people's battles out there, breaking stuff, and I don't care who it is. You're out there burning flags and flipping over cars and hitting people. You better sit your black behind. That is not what Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all of our great leaders died for us to do. That's not our get down. Don't you let yourself be played and pimped out like that. Period. You understand me? No. That's how I talk to my cat. No. But anyway, shout out to Gloria Savory. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Miss Penny Ford, Egyptians consider themselves white and don't like us. Yeah, those Egyptians that are there now, baby, but you know those people, they were part of the caliphate. That's what I'm trying to explain. These people were not there forever. They were part of the caliphate, and they took over by force, and that's how they ended up over there. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's an invasion. Well documented. Shout out to Robert Platinum. Thank you so much for the $10. Where's the love? I'm learning. I thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's see, we got Joseph Blue. We got 60 super chats. Maybe we get to 65. We'll see if that works. Helene Alexander, thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. Johnny Harris, Ishmael, Esau both enslaved Jacob. It's a biblical story. Yeah, that's exactly right. Hologram EMC, thank you. So Tether stay booking fights for us. Brooklyn took it. Oh man, you funny. Jamal Smith, thank you for the $5. Johnny Harris, Saudi Arabia named after King Saud. Thank you so much. Paige Styles says African tribe leaders were still selling slaves in 1862, 3 years before the Civil War. Yes, they were. Yes, they were, sir. Paige Styles, can someone tell me what Akata means? Akata means stray cat. Akata means bush cat. It means a cat without a home, a wild cat. It's a derogatory term that Africans on the West Coast of Africa use for foundational Black Americans to denote that we do not have a familial home. We don't know what tribe we came from, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's a pejorative use, and it's a derogatory term. And you know what? That's okay. We're going to be the Makatas. We'll be some wildcats out here. We should get some shirts that say wildcat on it, because we know how to survive in the wilderness of North America. And guess what? Tom Holman ain't coming to pick us up and sending us to Nigeria either, though. That's another thing. So shout out to the Wildcats. Anyway, Black Eyed P, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Michael J. Wisdom is power. Yes, it is. Let's see here. Penny Ford, Dubai gets new slaves every time there is a natural disaster. You know they picked that girl up. What was that girl that was over there in She was in Pakistan, and then she flew to Dubai on her way back to New York. You know, they took her off that plane. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? They took that lady off that plane, the one that was over there playing crazy. Talking about she got 3 kids, and she met that boy, and she was about to get married. What was her name? You guys know her name? No, Nija. Her name was Nija Johnson or something like that. They took her off that plane in Dubai, and we haven't seen her since. Now they said she's looking at doing some time. And I don't even know what she did. You see, I don't know why y'all keep going over there to those countries. I'm good. Oh no, I'm good. So anyway, yeah, Dubai gets new slaves every time they're natural disaster. Interesting. Shout out to Dario. Thanks, Uncle D. You're very welcome, family. Thank you. Have you ever read the scripture that the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone? This is the Lord's doing, and it is amazing. And everybody running to us. Bob Marley wrote a song. I don't know if it's Bob Marley, but yeah, like everybody running to us for help. 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 We good. We over here minding our business. We are good. Shout out to Banzerelite 1. Thank you so much. Off-White Fest in February. Oh, you are funny. Christopher Williams, thank you so much for the $49.99. Yeah, big dog, you get the hand clap. We're looking out. Black in the Day. Let me see. Black in the Day. On the U.S. Census, Arabian and Middle Eastern people are classified as white. Isn't that something, right? Isn't that what they need to go and get with the folk that they voted for then? Leave us alone. Mr. Hunter, 5150. Good looking out. Christopher Williams again. Thank you. You can go. Hey, you get your hand clap, baby. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to KS. Rest in peace, the GOAT. Yep, that's right. Carlette Strathen. That's Strachan. Thank you, Dennis, for keeping us informed. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure you're not out there looking like a fool. That's why I've been doing this whole series of broadcasts. I want to make sure black folks are not out there being made a fool of. You got people out there pimping, using you for your time, energy, moral authority, and political sway. And, see, the black people are with us. Donald Trump bragged on that. Well, black people voted for me. It must be all right. I got the stamp of approval. I'm my God. You see what I mean? It's black people voted for me. Hey, that's the gold stamp when you get black people to support you. Y'all keep that in mind. Y'all getting stagnant on the super chat. I must have got everybody in here to learn something. But I appreciate y'all. 60 is nifty. 60 is spiffy. Yeah, but we'd be great to get 65, but that's okay. If you didn't learn something, don't give me anything. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. All I need is like 100 more people to subscribe to the channel, and I think I'll be at 75,000. So if 100 people subscribe to the channel right now, okay, and if you can spell right now, spell it in the chat room right now. If you subscribe to the channel right now, 100 people, I have 75,000. Y'all try to get me there before the evening is over. But let's get back to Penny Ford. You possess the skill set to do this. Is calling. You are a natural teacher. We need more like you. Thank you, so sweet. You know what? You just showed up on my timeline, but you're just as sweet as a pumpkin pie. Thank you so much, Miss Penny Ford. I think you're the one over there in Germany or something like that. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. You're such a sweetie. Johnny Harris, you do speak of relationship for your people, period. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, family. Appreciate you. Flavor Genuine. Thank you for the 99 cents. Mr. Hunter, 5150, new member. Good looking out. All right, Christopher Williams. Appreciate for what you're doing. Thank you so much. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna give you a hand clap again. Appreciate you, fam. Intricately tangled. Thanks for all you do. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Norwal, brother, you are in the lane on your own. Thank you so much. All praises go to the Most High. I'm too humble to be accepting all these praises and whatnot. I can't take it. I'd have to just give it to the Lord. I try to make sure I stay humble and blessed in the Lord. That's how you do it. Paige Styles, I'm here for 71.6. Also, thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you. Johnny Harris, Ibonics is language. Let me see here. That more specific than English. Thank you so much, Johnny. Christopher Williams. Also, Liara Jimenez, thank you for running down our history. It's nice to hear black men spit like back in the day. Yeah, baby, that's what I do. That's what I do. And shout out to Queen V. All right, appreciate y'all. Now, I'm going to share something with y'all that's deeply personal to me. If you guys are willing to hang with me a little bit, I got more work to do, okay? But I gotta make sure I acknowledge this, because otherwise I wouldn't be being true to myself. You know, I want to make sure that you guys understand something, man. I my first job as a lawyer was in New Orleans. I didn't really know a lot about it. I didn't even want to be a personal injury lawyer, which I am now. It just kind of happened. But my first job, I graduated from Southern Law School. I got a job at I started work. I went to Tulane to get an LLM. The LLM is like a master's degree, so I can be a teacher of law. A lot of lawyers have a JD, they don't have a master's degree. So I wanted to set myself apart. As a matter of fact, my wife would tell you I commanded her to go to law school and then go get another law degree. And so she always, you can, man, I'm like, that's right. Get out of my pocket. That's what I need you to do. Get out of my pocket. But anyway, so I started working for this little small firm. And this broadcast that I'm doing tonight, this is something that's been on my mind for about 2 years, but I kind of just roll with stuff and let the spirit hit me. You understand me? But back in about so my mentor at the little firm is a little short fella named Michael Began. He was a little short dude, short Jewish dude. I didn't even know what Jewish people were. I heard about Jewish people, but I didn't know what. Just looked white to me. Just looked like a white dude. But I learned so much, you know, learned so much from him. And you guys, I don't know if you know, but this gentleman here, that's my dad, right? That's my son, grandma, that's the missus. But that guy right there, his name is Dennis Spurling, F. Spurling. My adopted father, who I didn't know was my adopted father until I was about 40. That's when I found my biological father, okay? Nevertheless, he was a lawyer, okay? Loved him. My role model, like my own personal black Superman. So it's very painful when he passed away. And then, you know, our relationship became strained after, you know, I mean, I was damn near 40, but still, you know, to find out that your dad is not your real dad, painful story. I talk about a lot of my books, Rules to Live By, which are on Amazon if you want to get them. But to make a long story short, he passed away in, my dad passed away in November of 2021. And Mr. Began, who was my mentor, passed away in March of 2022. Taught me everything about practicing law. Don't back down. He always said, you know, pick a side and stick with it, right or wrong. If you don't like what the judge does, you appeal it, appeal. You never back down, ever. Now, keep in mind, I'm 6'4". He was about 5'5", or maybe shorter, maybe 5'3". Tough little Jewish guy. You know what I mean? From Chicago. Shout out to Chi-Town. Tough as can be. Used to wrestle in college. Tough guy. And he passed away. You know, he and I, even after I left his law firm, I would call him in and we would go into these rooms, these courtrooms and mediation rooms, and we would kick butt. And I'll send him home with like 5 figures and I might walk away with $500,000. Bottom line is, great mentor, great guy, great respect, you know. And he passed away. And that bothered me tremendously. And so then, you know, still kind of reeling from losing my dad and, you know, still, you know, now I'm the old guy in the room, if that makes sense. All my mentors are gone. You know what I mean? All my mentors have gone. So I'm no longer just the kid, you know, and it bothers me. I got young associates to ask me questions. I'm like, man, but bottom line is when this situation happened and I'm gonna land this plane. I'm gonna get to where we need to get. I'm not finished yet. I just want to let y'all know where I'm coming from. Okay. And whatever I'm saying is like I say, you can have however you feel about groups, but then there's also individuals. Some of you all are dating people from other ethnicities. Some of you all have children by people from other ethnicities. I'm not telling you to be racist. I'm not that guy. But I'm telling you, as a group, as foundational Black Americans, when we talk about group politics, we have to recognize the group. Okay. But on an individual basis, you can love people, you can appreciate, you can respect them. I wouldn't be the lawyer I am today. My dad was a lawyer, but I'm the lawyer I am today because of Mr. Began and the other people that I work with fresh out of a law school. Nevertheless, I was so moved by what I saw happening to the Jewish people in Israel. You know, you just show up and you start dropping bombs on people and kidnapping people and such. And I'm thinking, man, this is his people, you know, and he's been dead for a year, 2 years, and he can't help his people, and he's done so much for me, because you wouldn't have Uncle D, you wouldn't have the Blizzard King if it wasn't for this guy. You understand what I'm saying, family? I need y'all to understand that. And just like a lot of the civil rights, we talked a little bit about the civil rights movement, we wouldn't have been able to make that progress without those Jewish people who contributed to the Legal Defense Fund. I mean, it's just what it is. I'm just pointing it out. It is what it is. So, just like Kevin Samuels, man, when I ride with you forever. And that's just how I'm built. Shout out to Alicia Ashby. So seeing all that horrible stuff that I saw, I sat on it for a minute. And what I decided to do in celebration of my friend is I decided to fund a scholarship for a Jewish student at his alma mater. You understand? His alma mater is Loyola University Law School. And I've given out scholarships before. Mostly I just give it to Black people, but I wanted to make sure I spread it around to and I know Jewish people don't need my money. You understand what I'm saying? But I never forget my friends. I never ever, I'm loyal to a fault, and that's just the type of dog I am. You understand what I'm saying? That's the dog I got. I am loyal. Once I'm with you 100%. You can't never get rid of me. You can't fall out with me. I'm not gonna let you fall out with me. Once you show me loyalty, I'm with you all the way. Even after you dead and gone, I'm gonna protect your children. I'm gonna protect your wife. I'm gonna protect your family. I'm gonna protect your name. Same thing you guys saw me do for Kevin Samuels, his mama, his daughter. They needed me. I showed up. I did what I had to do. I fought, and and I did what I could. Now in this situation, of course, this is geopolitics. It's far beyond my capability. I don't have that level of security. But what I did do is I funded a scholarship, and I spoke with Mr. Began's widow, and she was happy about it, whole family. And now this is kind of the story. I'll read a little bit to you guys. In the summer of 2024, because I've been seeing all these bad things happen to these people in Israel. Dennis Spurling established the Michael Began Memorial Scholarship in Law to pay tribute to the life and memory of Michael J. Began. He was a native of Lincolnwood, Illinois, and he was a resident of Metairie, Louisiana. For 40 years, Michael practiced law in the state and federal courts throughout Louisiana since 1981. Michael earned his Bachelor's of Science in Advertising from the University of Illinois, his Juris Doctor from Loyola University in New Orleans. He was a graduate of the National Institute of Trial Advocacy, and he was a member of the Louisiana State Bar Association, where he served on several committees through his career. Michael was an attorney, beloved partner of Wolf, Began, and Pick, where he practiced personal injury litigation, business law, and collections. Michael was he was tenacious too. Tenacious litigator in the courtroom, but had a huge compassion and understanding for clients, many of whom would return to seek legal assistance and refer family members and friends. Michael, for his legal acumen and his former assistant district attorney for Orleans Parish, and frequent lecturer on the Louisiana Continued Legal Education courses. And the purpose of this scholarship is to promote excellence in the field of law by offering incentives to talented students each year for 10 years. $1,000 scholarship will be awarded to a select student, awarded to each 2L law student for the next academic year. The qualifications, a Jewish kid is in the top 40% of his class. If no students meet both criteria, the scholarship goes to the Jewish student. Gifts are made to the university. So, and it's the stewardship is Dennis Spurling and Jackie Began. You see what I'm saying? So, again, money is not my motivation. I like to win. You understand me? And this is these folk just sending me a letter and just telling me thank you for the money I'm giving. I got the little formal invitation to come on over there. Let me see here. I got the little invitation. You know what I'm talking about? Uncle D. Donor. So Uncle D, the philanthropist, right? But these are the type of things, man, that I'm doing. All right. Donor reception Thursday, March 20th, 2025. So I'm gonna ease on over there, do what I gotta do. But the bottom line is, family, you gotta pick your sides. You gotta figure out which side you're gonna be on and stick to it. Right, wrong, or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, you know, same thing I do for Kevin Samuels that you all know of. I do it for anybody who I'm down with. And now you all see me dedicating myself to you, rededicating myself to the Black family. You understand what I'm saying? And I like it. You know, I love all my new folk who showed up. I appreciate you guys. I really care about you guys. And you know, I will be giving out some more scholarships to some HBCU students. I got some more planned up coming in the future. I would like to be able to give back to Texas Southern, and I'm probably going to set a scholarship up for my dad right over there, a litigation scholarship at Thurgood Marshall School of Law, TSU in Houston, Texas Southern University, just to celebrate Black excellence. So, I mean, that's probably going to be, I'm going to give away all the money, all the money you guys give me, I will give it away. I hate to say it, not on purpose, but that's just where I am, man. I'm not motivated by money. I just want to win. That's all I want to do is win. I want to win in life, and I want to see us win, man. I want to see Black folk win, and we winning. And I darn sure don't want to see y'all sidetracked by going out there protesting and doing crazy stuff. No, man, that's not how I want. I want to see us winning, baby. Yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. We got 63 super chats. We are balling out here. We rich. Shout out to us, rich Black folks. Rich Foundation of Black America. Alicia Ashby Johnson, thank you, baby. And also Black saying, stand with those who stand with you. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. I stand with those who stand with me, man. But anyway, look, fam, let's get down to the serious business at hand. All right. You know, you got folk Palestine. These Palestinians, they want Black people to involve ourselves in a fight for Palestine, right? And no different than the Latinos and the African immigrants and the Asian immigrants. They all want us to come jump in, right? They want to tag us in. But you know, I need to know that they're siding with me. You see? Okay? And we don't know that they're siding with us. Okay, do we? We don't know. We don't even know. I see a lot of history, right? So my perspective is solidarity and caution. And as a Black man, as a foundational Black American man, when I reflect on the dynamics of solidarity, I believe it's crucial for us to carefully consider whom we align with in our advocacy for justice and equality. And, you know, our struggle as foundational Black American has been shaped by centuries of slavery, systematic racism, and a fight for civil rights. We have a unique history that deserves acknowledgement and respect. And aligning with groups that have practices or histories that conflict with our values, that's going to dilute our message and undermine our fight for justice. Do we really want to make enemies out of people who these people are enemies with as a group? Because see, I know you got Palestinian friends, like you got white friends, and you got Latino friends, and you got Asian friends, but I'm talking about as a group. As a group. Do we really want to step ourselves out there and be uninformed? Because see, the reports of this anti-Black racism within some of these Arab and Muslim communities, it raises significant concerns with me, and I'm not trying to go out there and look like a fool. Okay, if we're going to advocate as a group for social justice and equality for another group, we need to be cautious about aligning ourselves with these groups, especially ones that may harbor sentiments that are contrary to our own experiences and struggles, something embedded in something as serious to them as their culture or their religion. I'm just saying. See, the narrative around this Israeli-Palestinian conflict is complicated. It goes back 3,000 years. You have people with historical claims to this land. And some people view Palestine's actions as a response to occupation, but here's the flip side. Others see them as part of the broader narrative of colonization. Did you see that? So who's the victim and who's the colonizer? It depends on when you start counting for who arrived. If we go back 3,000 years, that's one thing. But if we go back to World War II, they'll say, well, they colonized us. Well, let's go back 3,000 years. And that's why we as foundational Black Americans, we should be wary of supporting movements that we're not fully aware of and knowledgeable of, especially when they employ violence or aggression against others. Because see, we have fought hard against those similar injustices, and we don't want violence perpetrated on us. We had to deal with that. Now let's look at some of the current practices, but if you want to judge, let's look at some of the current practices of exploitation, the existence of modern day slavery and human trafficking of Black bodies in some of these Arab countries should be troubling to you. Especially as a foundational Black American person who is descended from African slaves. And thus, or should I say, aligning yourself with groups that are complicit in this exploitation, it literally, it undermines our principles and the work that we've done to combat this same practice. See, our primary focus, family, it needs to be addressing the systematic issues that we as foundational Black Americans face, and we have done an excellent job at it. But don't you believe anybody that tells you otherwise. You understand? Shout out to Penny Ford. We have our own battles to fight against racial injustice and economic inequality and social discrimination. And engaging in solidarity movements that don't align with our values, all that's going to do is distract us from our mission. Black folk need to come together with Black folks, number one. We need to make sure our unity is intact, and this is the perfect time to do it. Instead of aligning with groups that may not share our commitment to equality and justice, we need to seek partnerships. I'm not saying friendships, partnerships, because see, partners can break up. Partnerships with those who actively oppose racism in all forms, even their own internal racism. You understand that? We need to support our own struggles and share our own vision for a just society. That's what we need to do. And see, what they're doing, that ain't us. And while the fight for justice and equality is universal, we will agree with that. We must be discerning about who we choose to ally with. Because as foundational Black Americans, our history, it and the values, that's what guides us. So we need to focus on building alliances and that respect our struggles and contribute positively to the fight against oppression, rather than supporting movements that may conflict with the very principles that we stand for. I hope you all don't get caught up. I hope that when these people keep persisting and asking and begging, because it's going to get worse, they're going to eventually get mad at you for not coming out. But I hope I've given you the armament that you need to say, hey, I don't know if I can support you all. Tell me a little bit about your anti-Black racism. Tell me a little bit about your history. Tell me about a little bit more, what are your objectives? What's going to happen if you do get in power? I hope you all have learned something tonight. I certainly have. I learned how much I greatly appreciate you all and your patience. Nevertheless, man, this is Uncle D. And as I always say at this time, I'm out.
Dennis Spurling.
In the city where the lights don't sleep,
Uncle D got the vibe so deep, representing men strong and free. Dennis Spurling's the king of the spree. In the streets where the rhythm flows, black men rising, that's how it goes. Uncle D got the truth to show. In his heart, that's where the fire glows. Late night tuning, light up the stream. Dennis Spurling, wisdom gleam. Voices whisper truth and insight. In his podcast, feel the light. Harmony in every word. Truth and laughter you've heard. Well, that's alright. Wave after wave of smooth delight. Dennis brings the dark to light. That's the blizzard, baby! Share the tales unfold. Stories pour like morning gold. Feeling the wisdom is building. Subscribe and like time after time.
Black men, I want to salute you. Your incarceration rate is down, the education rate is up. We went from, we are doing great for ourselves. So you should salute yourself. Shout out to all the brothers out there, whether you're a truck driver or engineer, whether you're an electrician or garbage man, a doctor, a lawyer, if you a hard-working brother, if you fresh out the penitentiary, but you on your grind and you doing it legal and you trying to make amends for yourself, man, I salute you too, brothers. God bless you. This is Uncle D, and you know, I'm out.